I had to like grab it, like picking up dog shit.
I know.
The cops showed up. The sirens are going off. Whoa, what do you got on these stories? Jeez. But when I heard that, I'm like, really? Wow. Jesse would usually drive the night. I would drive probably afternoons, and then Kyle would drive in mornings.
Do you have a favorite Nelk video that you filmed ever?
Oh gosh, don't get me started with that. Like, in that moment, you don't know how you're supposed to react to that. It's one of those moments like you're so shocked, your brain is not processing what's happening.
Unmastered, let's go. You see it?
All right, guys, we're back on Unmastered Podcast. We have Mr. 905 Shooter here with us.
What's good?
We're here. Second time on the podcast.
Yeah.
We had to run it back because some things have happened in the media with you. So we're back. And how have you been, man?
Good. And also too, the last podcast, it was a bit shaky. You know, we got the audio problems, we got the mic problems, the SD card problems. So we got to run it back. Yeah. Officially make it a real podcast, you know? So thank you for having me. Yeah. It was...
Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. It's been about 5 months?
I think so, yeah.
Crazy.
New set. Crazy. And,
it's dope. And yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah. For sure. We reconnected at the Die Low show.
Yeah.
That was really cool. We didn't even know that you were going to be there. So we saw you. Of course, we talked about a bunch of stuff and enjoyed the show. Die Low killed it.
Yeah.
What else is new?
He was dope. He really got the crowd hyped with that one song.
Tonight.
That's actually catchy though if you think about it. Like you gotta shout out to Die Low because this guy he really knows how to make a song like trend, especially on TikTok.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
I think it might be my favorite song of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do tonight?
Beat it up one more time.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure. Wait, but what did you say in the video? You're like, I'm going to sleep tonight.
Yeah, of course. I went straight to sleep.
Yeah.
And that's the thing though too. Sleep is very important because health is wealth.
Facts.
And if you don't get enough sleep, you're not going to go to the gym early. You're not going to have the strength to actually go out and work out. And it's a must. The gym is a must.
Yeah.
It's you know what too? The gym, if you really take it seriously, it takes up like at least 2 hours minimum because you gotta like prep yourself with breakfast. I have a coffee and then go to the gym, warm up, do about an hour to maybe an hour and a half of working out, and then you gotta recover. You know, you have a little protein shake, you eat a bit of a snack, and then you go home and you eat a real meal. So that's already 2 meals in like 3 hours to start your day. And then you just eat as much as you can.
Were you always like a gym guy?
No, actually. So the first time I ever hit a gym was in zoo culture. Speaking of Bradley Martin, shout out to Bradley Martin. I went to the zoo culture for the first time. It was actually a sick gym. And the gym that I go to is kind of like a content creator type of gym where people just film stuff, film their workouts. That is exactly the same thing. It's like the California version of where I go to. Some people obviously probably know that where I go to actually. And Bradley just was our trainer, so he would help. It was myself, Kyle. I'm not too sure. I think Alex was another one because he's a gym guy too. And we would all hit the gym together. And then Bradley would just train every single person. We would do like chest, leg day. This guy would absolutely train you to the absolute, like, beat you.
Damn.
Like you if you didn't leave that gym and that workout not feeling sore for the next 3 days, you didn't do it correctly. Because I did like squats for the first time. I did deadlifts. My legs legit was hurting for 3 days straight after that. And so that was the first time I ever started working out. But then I didn't start working out officially until October of 2021. So that was like the first time I really started hitting the gym, and I've been doing that whole program, the Strong Lift, for about a year and a half, which is, you know, it's not bad. It's something I like to keep going. Maybe eventually I would switch it up and do a new program, do like certain days of specific body parts, chest or legs or shoulders, you know. But
And how's Brad in person? Is it all just social media? He looks big, or is he a fucking 260 monster in person too?
okay, so that's the thing. That's the thing with a lot of people, personalities that you see. It's not always sometimes what you see online is how they are in person is what dictates how you in person how you think about this person. He's honestly one of the nicest guys. He's like really chill. He gives back to a lot of people that he feels like deserved it, right? And he actually cares about the people that he surrounds himself with. Like he's a really nice guy. He treats all. I've seen it too. Like in person, he treats all his employees well. He has a whole culture there that people enjoy. And to me, he was a nice guy. He's still a guy that I follow with. And actually, I was talking to him recently. Hopefully, someday do a podcast with him on Raw Talk.
Oh yeah.
So
that'd be cool.
Yeah, he's got a dope pod too. We've watched a couple of his podcasts, and like he's very genuine. He has that whole backstory of what happened to him when he was a kid. So that's why I guess that's where that comes from. He's been through a lot.
Yeah.
And you could tell he like tries to spread it back onto other people. Just like during COVID, the gym kind of gave him that happiness. So everyone was telling him like, you got to close your gym. But he kept it open for the people because there's people who literally that's their enjoyment is to go to the gym, and people are telling them they can't go. Like, so yeah, he seems like a really good guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess home workouts your backup plan if you can't go to the gym,
Right.
but a real gym. Right. But it was fun though. And then I think it was a Clout House is when like that place was insane because we had the gym on the third floor and they had a club, like a little club set up. So we had like a bunch of bartending like tables.
Okay.
They had a pole. They had a little DJ booth. And then sometimes, not always, we would always have some parties there at the third floor, but mainly it was on the fourth floor where it was like the kitchen. And so to kind of lay it out, it's like a square spiral staircase that you go up each floor, and each floor is different because the first floor had the movie theater and like a couple rooms and the garage. Second floor is just all bedrooms. Third floor had the movie. Oh no, it was not a movie theater. It was the gym, and then the club, and then the fourth floor was the kitchen, and then you had like the entertainment side, like the pool table. You had the balcony facing all of Hollywood, so like you could see like down below was Hollywood. You could see just all the lights, everything. You couldn't really see much because of all the mountains surrounding it, but it was a beautiful view. And then you had, that was to the left side. When you, like, let's say you're first person, to the left side is all the entertainment side. The right side is the kitchen. And then when you walk out to the kitchen, that's where you have the pool there. It's like a infinity pool. Mm-hmm. It was a heat warming pool. And then you had an upstairs side where it had like a little gazebo. You kind of chill there with a fireplace. And then the back of it was just empty space. And when we were living there, we had a bunch of ideas to kind of recreate and make it better. And I remembered, I think Jesse was the one who had the idea to build a half pipe in that space that was just empty. Yeah. And then the club, I remembered, this is actually one of the funniest parts of the Clout House that I remember, was Banks bought a poker table. This guy bought it, I think, on Amazon or somewhere like online for like $500. Mm-hmm. And then we originally set up on the fourth floor and we just played poker games. And then actually we didn't even have a table at the point. I think we used a pong table, right? And we just played poker. And then we moved eventually to the third floor where the club was, and we had a legit poker table, poker chips, poker chairs. And then I remembered it was funny. I was dealing the entire time, and nobody wants to deal, and everybody just wants to play. Mm-hmm. So these were kind of like high roller. They were a bit high roller in that house. And then I would just deal all night, and I would get some tips, like I'm not going to say how much, but it was some good tips. And it was actually fun though. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you guys been casinos or anything, but dealing is actually kind of fun.
So you were the dealer of the group?
905 dealer.
Yes. Yes. I was actually dealing, and that was probably one of the funniest and most like memorable things from my experience living there, was just the poker nights.
Yeah.
You know,
How often do you guys throw parties at that house? Like,
wow.
I mean,
Every weekend. So minimum Friday, Saturday nights. That's for sure, because that's how it is. If they felt like they wanted to do it again, they would do it Sunday. And then typically it's only on the weekends, but there's an occasional time that they would do it on a weekday, and it was fun. Like the whole parties, it got crazy. There was a lot of interesting parties that we've had.
What's the craziest party?
Okay.
That's like a gimme, right?
So I have one specific one was the Mr. Beast and Banks party that we had. So Mr. Beast did the whole paintballing creator event. I don't know if you remember this, but he got a bunch of creators, like I think it was Rug, and I honestly forget who else was involved, because you probably have to look it up on YouTube.
Yeah.
He did a whole paintball event. I think the winner gets like $5,000 or $10,000. And then after that, Banks hosted this party for everybody to show up. Like all the creators in LA came out. We had a huge party. He actually, it was titled, "The last person to watch this video gets $100K," or "The last person to like this video gets $100K dollars." And it was a picture with him and Mr. Beast. That was one of the craziest parties I could remember. Damn. Like you had David Dobrik come out. I think Mike Malek was there. You had Arizona Zervas. Do you know who Arizona Zervas?
Yeah.
Roxanne. But you know what? Shout out to AZ. He actually has some real bangers. Not just that song. Yeah. And then you had Riley Reid come out, FaZe Rug, FaZe Adapt. You had who else? Just so many people. Honestly, I forget. I think maybe Tana Mongo. Can't remember the other people, but these were people at the time that were big in the social media world. Yeah, right. Like 2019 was like probably one of the biggest times for like content creators on YouTube. And these were all vloggers. Some of them were entertainers. So that was my favorite time. And those memories, there was a lot of good. We talked about this at the Dialer show. Yeah. Like I showed you some of it. It was I don't know if you want to get like into that.
Yeah, sure. Get into it, man.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Yeah. So, I show you.
Is that the Jake Paul era?
Are you talking about the flamethrower?
Yes. So
let's see that.
I don't know if you remember this one. I showed you this one. It was basically one of them decided to get the flamethrower that Elon Musk had with the Boeing company. Yeah. And for some reason, they thought it was a good idea to just get on top of the kitchen table and have people just use a flamethrower. But they had like, it was like this one. You remember that one? I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but like you had like a flamethrower, like people were just using a flamethrower.
That's crazy.
And like, I think what else? There was this one with FaZe Adapt. Like he just like, just for fun, like he just kept using a flamethrower. Like these people were like, oh, this one. This was probably the best one.
Oh my god! With Queen in the background.
I'll send you these videos.
Yeah, we'll put them up.
That's like Rick Dalton in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's crazy, dude. Where do you even get your hands on
I think that was Katie Bell. Yeah, that was Katie Bell. But Dwarf Mamba, and then who else? Foosh.
Nobody got burnt though.
No. Luckily, no.
Nobody burnt anything,
and luckily none of the sprinklers went off
because of smoke and all that. Yeah. Wow.
But then it was insane. I remember people lining up to get into this party because it was like the hottest party of that week. People knew about it all over social media. Like you had to get a guest list. They had bouncers. You had to show ID. They had like an entire list of people like who we invited as well, and it was like a whole process, but it's legit. And then I remembered.
So there'd actually be lineups down the street and shit.
People were like, I remembered it was, I think, because.
Like how would you invite people? Like how did they invite people?
So typically it's obviously the creators. We all small circle of people. We hit them up. Hey, do you want to come out? This is like the biggest party. And then You go on
guess,
Instagram.
right.
It's really just Instagram.
Yeah.
You just find a bunch of people. You ask them to DM you what's the address and all that, and then you just we just selected people that we knew. I didn't do it. Like I didn't. Maybe I did the scouting, but I think it was Kyle that like was the one that sent the invite. Like, hey, come here. This is the address. All that stuff. But then it was after hours because at 2 a.m. is when it's last call. All the clubs are shutting down. So at that point, all the people that want to still party, they would want to come to our place. And then I remember the cops had to show up a few times because they had to like shut down the party because there's too many people, noise complaints, because we had neighbors, legit, like regular people living on that street, and they were just complaining. And then every weekend we get a complaint from somebody. And
you guys definitely have to hire for security for these parties, right?
Of course. I think it was the same party, but I remembered we lived on the second floor, and when there was a little guest area, and you had to walk along the balcony, and there's a sliding door that leads you into a guest area. So you had like a kitchen, microwave, stove, fridge, stove, everything. To the right was a bedroom that me and 3 other guys shared. We had bunk beds. We had 2 bunk beds, so 4 guys sharing a bedroom with a washroom. Or a bathroom. It was Clay, Austin, Drew, manager Drew, and myself. And then to the left was Jesse's room, a washroom, and then Kyle's room was at the very end. So it's kind of connected. And then nobody's supposed to be on the second floor because it's all private, like where everybody has their bedrooms. Everything should be locked, right? So this is how I know somebody didn't follow the rules, and this is actually kind of fucked up. I left my laptop on the table because, I shouldn't have to worry about people sneaking around our house and creeping through people's stuff. So somebody actually stole my laptop.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you had like videos and footage?
No. Luckily, all the stuff is saved on a hard drive. But my laptop it got stolen.
Right.
And obviously, like, specifically those cameras that are not showing the balcony side, so you can't see, and it was dark, so you can't see anybody or you can't see a face, and obviously I didn't get that back, so that was unfortunate.
Shit.
And then the whole Mr. Beast party, there's one I showed you guys this story, and this is kind of like, if you think about it, it's like, how can somebody do this? So we had 3 different washrooms. Okay. We had one that was a toilet. And then you had the second one that had urinals. So there's two urinals, and then the last one was just a toilet. So it's obviously women and men. Somebody decided in this party throughout the night to take a shit in our urinal.
Oh my!
Oh, that's gross.
It's bound to happen at one of those parties.
So
you got a picture of that?
You know what? I took a picture because I'm like, this is proof that somebody's gonna be like,
someone did that.
I don't believe you. Like, did somebody
that.
really take a shit in our urinal?
Someone has to do that.
I must have read.
Obviously, you're gonna censor this, but look, somebody legit.
Don't show the
Oh god!
Right, and it was a nasty one. And then so this is what happened.
It's a big log, man.
So everybody, majority of the people there are drunk. They're not like, I'm out of it. As soon as you open the door, you smell like a wind of shit coming into your nose. So I knew right away that something was wrong. And I remember someone came up to me. He's like, "Yo, like, we got a problem here." I'm like, "What's going on?" It's like, someone took a shit in our urinal.
Who cleaned that?
And then so I go to Banks. I'm like, "Hey, like, Banks, like, someone took a shit in our urinal. Like, what do we do about it?" It's like, all the maids were there kind of like cleaning up before the party, and they left early because it's obviously like they did their job. So Banks is like, "Well, everybody here is drunk. You're like one of the only sober people. I'll do you a solid. I'll pay you like $200 if you clean up the shit." So I'm like, you know what? I'll be the responsible one here. I'm sober. Nobody else, everybody else here is like drunk. They're not gonna deal with that. I had to put on gloves, like the blue latex gloves. I had to like grab it, like picking up dog shit.
Can you put a mask on or something?
But I had, actually, you know what's funny? I think I wore a mask.
You have to wear a mask.
I had to
before COVID.
And then I had a plastic. I took like a little plastic bag, and I had just to grab it like I'm picking up dog shit, and I just wrapped it up. You know, I tied it up, and I just threw it in the garbage. But then after that happened, I had to sanitize, I had to get Febreze, spray it up, everything, you know?
Yeah.
So when you think about it too, after I was like, well, there's one person in this room who took a shit, couldn't wipe their ass, and smells like shit.
Right.
So whoever, honestly, you're not going to sniff around, but there's at least one person here that smells like shit.
Yeah.
So who is
it?
Yeah, that was a big question. And the funniest thing is, to this day, we still don't know who took that shit.
If you're out there and you're watching this, comment right
Probably
now.
not. But like they're probably not on YouTube right now watching this.
Did you
But-
drop that deuce?
But at the same time, though, obviously no one in whoever lived in our house would do that because they have their own washroom. They know where the other washrooms are. And people who are affiliated with us, who know the house, who comes often, wouldn't do that. So it's obviously, and honestly, it wouldn't be none of the creators because they're respectful enough to. It's our house. They're gonna be respectful. So it had to be just a random guest that we invited to. I'm like, you are nasty for doing that.
Unless someone was trying to go viral. Like I shit in the Nelk boys toilet or something.
Well, I guess this gonna be a clip.
He was waiting. He was waiting for this moment 5 years later.
5 years later, maybe it was you. You were waiting.
Why would I do that to my own house? I know this. I know this spot, but that was honestly one of the like funniest but weirdest stories I had to experience there. And he did pay me, by the way. So shout out to Banks. This guy paid me. Yo.
Man of his word.
Yeah, man.
So like at these parties, like you're saying, so there was just like random people you invited. There's not like it was only just influencer people. Like it was just also people reached out to us like, yeah, you can come, whatever.
But the majority of the people were people that we've met in the past, and we've met at like either a club or a party.
Yeah.
And you know what LA parties is that someone is there for a reason, whether they know somebody personally or if they've met in the past and they just like the person, they bring them along to these parties. And when you meet these people, you all could relate to each other and you all could like talk to each other and understand each other. And there's no awkward. And also too, people like, even if it's a regular person, they understand the lifestyle where like they don't act like a fanboy or fangirl. And they treat you normally, like a regular human. And I say this to a lot of people too when I meet them in person. Like, people ask me, like, how do you approach? I remember somebody said to me, like, what's the best advice when you're meeting like a celebrity or an influencer or somebody that you look up to? And I said the exact same thing. Like, the number one rule I tell myself and I tell other people is just treat them with respect. And you also treat them like a human, because the human aspect, they could see it when somebody is genuinely wanting to talk with them and actually have a decent conversation, or if they're just saying this just to tell their friends, like, hey, I got to meet this person and I got a photo with them, like a selfie, right? And obviously the people who ask these questions, or the people who are wondering, are the ones who are not used to that environment or the group of people, and they're new to it, where they want to now, the next time that happens, when they meet somebody that they like, a famous person, a celebrity, athlete, artist, they know how to approach them properly, right? Because then you don't want to be like awkward, and then you don't want to give them the wrong impression, whomever it may be, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, those like impressions are important, right? The first time you meet someone can kind of paint the picture of like how that person is, right?
Exactly. Because if you don't, and I think even the best thing too is just saying hi and introducing yourself, right? Yeah. And shaking their hand, or however, like if they're a hugger, give them a hug, like make them feel comfortable to be around you, and then allow them to be in their personal space to let them like have a conversation with you, because it's more awkward when it's an adult. You understand if it's a kid, because the kids, they don't know how to act. But if it's an adult, it's like, come on. Like, you're old enough to know better, you know?
Yeah, I've seen so many like videos of just like people that go up to celebrities and they're like, can I get a picture? Like, that's the first thing they say.
Yeah.
It's like, say hi.
Yeah, but you have to think too. You have to also think, like, were they teenagers?
Yeah, well, that too, but still.
Yeah. But like I said, though, like, you have to give them some sort of benefit of the doubt that they don't know better, but they're old enough to know that they should probably say hi.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
at least like the thing
Yeah.
is, I don't know about you guys, but personally, I actually asked for a photo at the end of the
Yeah,
conversation
exactly.
when I'm about to say bye, and we're like, oh, before you leave, do you mind if I get a photo with you?
Yeah.
Right. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna say yes, and there's probably that one time where somebody's like, no, thank you, or they're not in the mood and not in the,
Yeah.
you know, they're not feeling it. But
Well, for example, like when we went to meet Fusi,
Mhm.
the first thing we're not just like, oh, can we get a picture? We're like, let's just be generous. And we gave him a sweater. We like, love your work, been watching you a long time. He was the one who was actually like, oh, like you guys want a picture? Like, thanks for the sweater, whatever. Like we weren't the first. If we were just like, oh, can we get a picture? It's like so fanboyish. And then maybe that's why he wanted the opportunity to possibly come on our podcast, which he kind of wanted to do that, right? At one point.
yeah,
If he
yeah.
was so like fanish, like he'd been like, oh, these guys are just like, you know, they're not like cool people. Like they didn't introduce themselves to me. Whatever you introduce yourself, you're like, I'm Nick. We're Unmastered. Here's your sweater.
Yeah.
And he was like, you guys want a picture? We didn't even ask for one. So
Yeah, and also like it's honestly it's more rewarding out of the conversation when they're comfortable and no hesitation when you ask, or even if they offer. Right, some people offer, but it depends on the person, and it just feels less. It feels less staged for you when you are kind of like begging for something.
I also feel like, you know, other creators meeting other creators, it's like different because you have that like mutual respect,
Yeah, yeah.
like a little bit. Like I think the more we've been doing this, like I don't get as excited when I like meet someone because it's like, okay, this is just another business, like another person who runs a brand, and like they're in the same industry as me. Like I shouldn't be like terrified to meet someone like that. You know what I mean? Like we're in the same league, kind of, sort of, right? Like
Exactly.
maybe there's some people who are more successful and, you know, you're inspired by that. But like, am I like, oh my God, this is God? Like never. Like I don't think I'll ever be like that either. Like unless like, sure, you meet like a guy like Drake, it's pretty crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's Drake, it's like whatever. But still, like even guys like that, it's like you see them so often where it's like, okay, like I met, like I feel like I know you already. Like, I've already like seen you for so many years and listened to your music. It's like I don't really like find it that crazy, you know? But
Yeah, but also too, speaking of that, the best thing you could do as well is network with them. I think
the thing,
that's so the hardest part is meeting the person.
Yeah.
The easiest part I would say is actually networking with them. And this is important. Shout out to Ernesto from Money Buys Happiness. He says this all the time. And when I listen to his podcast, he gives you so much knowledge. Networking is probably one of the biggest things and most useful things you could ever do when you're building your brand. Because, for example, I saw your podcast through Aiden.
Right.
And if it wasn't for meeting Aiden, I would have never honestly knew about this podcast. I may have ran into it maybe through the algorithm of like other people being on it, like Dilo, for example. Yeah. And I wouldn't have met Dilo through you guys.
Exactly.
Because right before my episode came out, Dilo was on your episode. And I was like, yo, this guy, like he speaks some facts, like things I could relate to. And he understands the whole creative mindset of marketing yourself. And that's another marketing. How do you want to market yourself in this whole wave of social media, algorithms, and I wouldn't say competition, but your fellow creators? Like, how do you stack up with other creators, and how can you outperform yourself every time? Right? And when you do that, that's when you can start networking and saying, hey, like we gained this much of a following now. Like we are an established podcast now. Like we've done this many episodes now. We've had this many guests. Or it doesn't even matter about the guests sometimes, sometimes, but more so like of the consistency of doing your podcasts, right? And once you start having guests more on your podcast and they start sharing it, you never know who's going to see your podcast, right? So once that happens, then more people are going to hit you up like, hey, like you have a pretty dope podcast. Can I go on your podcast? And that at that point now, sometimes you don't even have to reach out to these people. They will reach out to you. Yeah. Right.
It's a good plan. And like we can attest to that firsthand with ourselves, right? Like you were literally just on the new recent Nelk video, and
Yeah.
Kyle literally saw our clip. So a guy who's literally like mainstream social media, has probably one of the biggest podcasts right now, seeing our podcast through you being on our podcast.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's a test of loyalty too. Because like Kyle, like he said it on the podcast too, because I don't know if you guys seen it, but he was saying too, like he pretty much watched every podcast that I've been on. Because and that's respect to him for still following what I do, even though we're not in a business together. We still have that personal friendship that people forget that we do have, right?
Yeah.
Because just because you ended your relationship with a company, your work, or you quit, that doesn't mean that the people that you met in between, you build relationships and friendships throughout your time there.
Yeah.
And you still keep that if you are good with them, if you got a good relationship with them. And that's why we decided to meet up again, is because he was back in town. We've been meaning to meet up for a while, but that's because you wanted to give it time to kind of like let things kind of settle down and do it when he feels it like it's right for him and it's right for me, when we kind of like done our own things. Like I focused on my own stuff, and that's how like exactly how he found out about Money Buys Happiness. Yeah. That's how he found out about that's how you saw that clip of like Homecoming, right? Just because of that one clip of saying Homecoming. Like
Hey, so should we get into the homecoming stuff?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Are you gonna go to one?
No, we talked about this on the last time, okay? We talked about this on the last podcast. I don't have to say it, okay?
Yeah.
But what I will say is that someone from the Maritimes, okay, he runs a promotion company. I think it's called Beta Entertainment.
Okay.
So they are partnering up with Dalhousie, the university. They're partnering up with the city of Halifax, and they're also working with Canadian Party Life. And they're organizing kind of like what Western did in 2019, was called Purple Fest, where they had, I think it was Tyga,
ASAP, I think.
ASAP Rocky,
yeah.
I think.
Really?
And so they're calling this Magnetic World Music Festival. This is October 7th. So the idea is they're going to have Dalhousie Homecoming, right?
Okay.
Obviously, they're going to have the street parties. That's a whole separate thing. But what they want to obviously do, kind of what Western did, is push everyone outside of it, which in retrospect, they're not going to. There's still going to be people on the street parties, but they want to get most of the people out of that and into like a football stadium, and then want to watch the football game, the homecoming game, but then have this festival as another form of entertainment where people are now like, they're in a more secured area, and you get to watch, I think it's Annalie Chopra, which I don't really listen to his music.
Yeah.
You have Dubs, who is like that EDM group, Canadian actually, and then Frank Walker. I'm not too familiar with Frank Walker. And then I think his name is like Central UK, some like, I guess a UK rapper.
Yeah.
I honestly, I don't know most of the lineup, but I know of the names, like respectfully. But so basically, one of the guys hit me up and said, "Hey, we cordially invite you to this festival." So they're gonna fly me out. Well, they're gonna accommodate me. I pay for my own flight, which is not a big deal, but they're gonna accommodate me, like hotel, ground, like drive me, basically have a driver for me. And then I get to shoot the festival.
There you go.
And I get paid for it.
Sick.
Right?
That's sick.
And it's gonna be big. Like the last time I went to Halifax was 5 years ago now.
How far of a flight is that?
It's about 2 hours. Not for bad, but driving is about 8 hours.
So I mean, technically, you're kind of going.
Yeah, you're going. You said you weren't going, but you are.
Well, no.
The new version.
It's a new like paid for.
Okay,
version.
so but the thing is, though,
you're working.
let's be honest though. When people think of homecoming, they don't think about the football games. They don't think about the university events. They think about the street parties.
I think that's why you did say something like you're doing the street party stuff. So no, he's technically not doing that.
Okay.
Technically, well, I am gonna be. Well,
You'll be nearby.
I'll be nearby, but I won't participate in it. So technically, I'm still not in it.
You'll walk around the perimeter. Like let's say the street is there. Will you like step foot?
No. I don't even know. I have to honestly Google that. Like, what
if they're chanting your name? They're like, nah, I know. No.
Hey. You can't give into it. That's peer pressure.
Yeah. Right.
You know,
that's
we learn that in school. You can't fall into peer pressure.
Very true.
Because once you get into peer pressure, then you never know what's gonna happen.
Yep.
Right? Maybe you guys should go.
Maybe we'll go and we'll like
October
meet
7th.
up, but like right on the line of the homecoming.
They're gonna set up gates to be like street party festival.
Like once you go over, you're like, like it burns.
you gotta show your passport. Like, hey, you guys, you gotta show ID to get past the border.
Yeah, pretty much.
You set up a border. Be like, hey, you're now exiting.
You're now exiting
the university. You gotta enter like the public side of everything. Because once you go into the public side of it, anything could happen. And
trees thrown. It's happened to me once.
Actually, I saw a video of what happened last year. Same thing like every other party, but this was in Halifax. They definitely probably do it bigger. Just people were like, I have to look it back, but they were doing some weird stuff, right?
Such
like,
as
I can't imagine.
I can't remember honestly. I gotta look that up because I can't think off the top of my head. I don't keep up with Halifax news or Nova Scotia news.
Nothing as bad as shitting in the toilet. Though.
Well, actually, there was actually worse things like having someone have their car flipped at McMaster.
Yeah.
I was actually there when that happened.
Yeah.
I saw the first like stomps.
Okay, well, to run it, slow it down. Hold on.
I could have been like, hey, don't do that.
Let's run it back. So for context, okay, McMaster 2021, I went there. And it was a lady. It was actually a first year girl, 18 years old, just got this Mazda 3 the year before, and it was her first car. And I know the story because I saw like the GoFundMe and everything. Yeah. She goes for a rowing competition. Yeah. She leaves her car on Dalewood, not knowing that that's the street where the street party happens. So at first, everything was chill. Nobody was touching the car. Nobody cared about the car. It was until the football game when everybody, all the degens came, and then there was like stomping on her hood, stomping on the roof of her car. They started breaking the windshield. Yeah. They broke the bumper, and then they smashed the windows, they broke the side mirrors, and then eventually they flipped the car over. And I'm like,
what's wrong with these fucking people, man? They think it's like a little plastic toy in the street or something.
Do you think that the full send mentality led to that?
Honestly, no. I think it's just stupidity. Because the thing about this though, when I was there for the first 3-4 hours I was there, everybody did not care about the car. They just had a good time. Yeah. Right. It's all about the people that are actually there that dictate how things are going to happen. So people were chill. Everybody there was respectful. Like they were the nicest people I met at McMaster. Yeah. So once those people came in, that's when they started causing trouble. And then that's when people started like having police come for they shouldn't have police like doing that much. Right. They shouldn't put the cops work through all that, because they're just there to facilitate. They're not there to like actually have to like arrest people. They don't want to arrest people, but they have to. And then I was not there, by the way. I actually left before that happened. So luckily I wasn't there to actually see it because I'm not even going to put that. Queens, on the other hand, was a different story. They were the complete opposite. And we told this actually on the last podcast. I won't get into it. So hey, guys.
Go check out.
If you haven't checked out our last episode, go check it out. It's probably one of the craziest stories. I actually have it on my YouTube channel as well. Just search up Queen's Homecoming 2021, McMaster Homecoming 2021. It felt like, honestly, it was like a movie.
Go check it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So but wait, the girl wasn't there to witness that.
No. And the reason
she was at a rowing competition.
She was at a rowing competition.
Comes back.
And the reason why she found out is through Snapchat. People were sending Snapchats to her.
That's brutal.
And then she got a GoFundMe set up by her sister for $10K. I think it was $5K, maybe. But she got like over $25K. 50. I think it was like $50K that she got back.
I can't imagine how that just feels like. Or like even if you didn't know what happened, you just walk out and your car's just
Do you
completely
get
flipped
insurance
over.
for
Yeah,
that?
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
because it's not your fault.
Like degenerates stomping
like
on
what
my
you
car.
said.
Actually, no, I lied. No, I think she couldn't get insurance
That's
back
probably
for
why
it.
she did the GoFundMe.
That's why she had to get a
Oh,
GoFundMe.
true.
That's
Ah,
why
there
to
you go.
to
See,
pay
it's
back
such
for
a
the car.
specifically weird thing.
But the thing is, she doubled her money. Well, luckily, the GoFundMe doubled their goal, so she got more
Even
than what she
better.
asked for.
Good.
She got
she
her
got
tuition paid for.
Tuition and a car.
Yeah.
So, moral of the story here: put your car out on Dalewood.
No.
No, now you're condoning people to act
But
stupid.
you get the tuition.
Let's
though.
not do that, guys.
No,
Someone's
no,
gonna actually
no.
put their car there and just get.
Wait,
his
Nick said
buddies
to do that?
So
Okay,
if
yeah,
it
for
happens,
sure.
it's on him, guys.
Hey, peer pressure, right? That's back to that. Don't
Yeah, no,
listen to
thank you.
everything.
No. The best thing you could do is don't drive near Westdale.
That's where I used to live, Westdale.
Westdale, yeah. Shout out to Westdale. My buddies used to live on Arkell Street.
Actually, King Street. I don't know why I said Westdale.
Well,
You know King Street, like that area?
yeah. Don't get me started about King Street
Oh.
in Hamilton. That's like the dirtiest, sketchiest
Yeah,
street
that's
to
where
be
I
on.
used to live, man.
Jesse grew up there, right?
Dirty and sketchy.
Hamilton?
Stony Creek. But still, King Street though, if
Got
you
a
walk
couple
down King
cockroaches.
Street, gives me weird. It gives me chills.
Yeah, there's like a weird, like kind of crackhead energy.
Especially the Tim Hortons on the corner right before Tim Hortons Field. That's the sketchiest Tim Hortons in Hamilton.
Where like the Pinks area is? or
No. So right before you get to Tim Hortons Field, an intersection. I forget the name of the street, obviously, because I'm not from Hamilton. But you could pull in to the right side, and it's like kind of like you could enter and exit on each side of the street. But it's the sketchiest Tim Hortons that you could find. It's on King Street, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably never went because it was so sketchy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like there's a lot of sketchy places in those towns, man. Like we went up to Kingston when we did the
Oh,
Queens
no.
one, the Queens Homecoming.
Yeah.
That
year was
place
that?
is like no, it was last year.
Oh, last
It was
year, yeah,
2022.
yeah.
That place is like a ghost town. Like it's like do people actually live here?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we kept saying. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing to do. Like it's like this like
The
empty,
McDonald's
barren
that we were in
town.
was bad.
Huh?
The McDonald's that we were in.
Yeah.
Remember?
Everyone was like on drugs or something. They're like just like
But see, that's the thing though. Like when you go to these university towns, obviously it's popping when you go to Guelph,
Yeah.
Hamilton,
Yeah.
London, St. Catharines, Kingston, all of these even Waterloo, right? You go to these cities when it's school season, especially September to October. That's when the homecoming season happens, obviously. Those are the most like fun for your like age group, right? But once it's wintertime and once it's summertime, it's completely dead because all the students leave. Most of them don't even live there.
yeah.
There's a rare occasion that somebody lives in the same city that they go to school at,
Yeah.
right? And majority of the people that live in like Guelph or London or Hamilton or St. Catharines and Kingston are mainly retired, older folks that have their kids moved out already and are just chilling there because they already have the house there. They're not gonna look for a new house that you pay $1 million for now
Yeah.
for like a small tiny house. Like I don't know about this house, but like probably cost $1 million at least.
Couple million. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
1.5. Whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And like respectfully, it's a townhouse.
Yeah.
So it's like, can you imagine?
Imagine a real house.
Imagine like a single detached
That's why
house
this
like
is not
mine
real.
that we originally got this was 20 years ago, $300K. Now you can imagine the market now. It's like at least 5 times doubled.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like 1.5, at least minimum $1 million.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think like a neighbor in our house sold the house for 1.1 million.
Jeez.
Right.
I don't know if I can live here, guys. I think I'm gonna have to move, go to another country.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I heard, like Dubai is popping.
Dubai.
Sent me that reel the other
It
day.
is popping.
Yeah.
I
The
did
guy
hear
said
that
he
too.
moved from Toronto or Canada to Dubai.
Mhm.
Taxes better, all that stuff, man.
But maybe that's just like an ad from Dubai.
Maybe.
Yeah. What was his nationality?
Dubaianese.
Was
No,
he?
they don't pay tax. I
No,
don't
he said
think.
he was Canadian. He was Canadian or
I
something.
don't
He
think they
moved
pay
from
tax.
Canada to Dubai.
Is he
I think he
Italian?
was. I don't know. I
European?
don't remember. It was a reel. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So you don't know the guy.
No, I
Okay,
don't know
okay.
the guy. No.
Well, I knew a girl from Dubai, and she told me that, yeah, like if you go there with money, like you're good. But like and
Well,
if
that's
you
like
have money
everywhere,
there, you're
though.
good.
That's not
So
everywhere.
like it's not like true. Like you just go there, you're good.
Well, you can't just go anywhere and be good.
Yeah,
You
lots
need
of people
some
come here
money.
from poor countries and they're good.
Okay, I
Well,
guess.
Their
it's-
dollar's good. here.
It also depends on the country. Not everywhere, like you
Right.
said. It's third world countries specifically.
Yeah.
Like Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, India, Indonesia. You go to Bali, you go to Cebu, you go to Bangkok, you go to Dubai, for example, right? That's a more richer country. But you go to like the smaller countries, South America, like Brazil, Ecuador, Colombia. If you have money, they're gonna treat you like royalty because you're gonna tip them well. They accept the tips, and they're gonna if you're willing to spend your money like $500 in their currency is a lot for them to even handle.
Yeah.
For us, it's like pocket change. It's enough for us to like go through a month of like groceries and all that.
Yeah.
Right? Groceries here is
It's
super
one sure
expensive.
mic.
Sorry?
$500 like one of these mics, man.
Exactly.
You got 4 of them.
Right? And like so like when you go to like for me, I went to the Philippines, right? I went there twice now. And I got there with like minimum $1,000. You have their minimum. The currency there is about, I don't know, at the time it was like 1.39. So 1.39, I think, let's say $1.50 of pesos, right? Is a dollar Canadian, right? So the currency, the exchange rate is so much better. I think it's probably better now, probably worse. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But when you go there, like a $30 for a taxi ride, if you're taking taxi, or they use Drop, not Uber. You use a thing called Drop. It's their like version of their driving services. They don't care. Like they take it all. They don't mind. And it's literally like $13 to go like across the city. It's like super cheap. And you're like, the surge here is insane.
Yeah.
Right?
Would you ever see yourself ever moving to the States? Like, I know you were there obviously for a bit when you were traveling around and stuff. How was that even too? Like the difference between living here? Do you like living in the States?
Well, he's a Canadian boy.
Yeah, but you know what though? America is just so much different.
Yeah.
I remember when I first traveled to the US and I was staying there for about a month minimum. It felt different because I'm like, well, I'm Canadian. I had to get used to the US lifestyle because like there's just so much different things about here. Like you go to a gas station, like if you were drinking, you go to a gas station, you could just pick up a case of beer and it's super cheap.
Yeah.
I remember we would pick up like Bud Light or Corona, 2.4. In Canada, a 2.4 at the time when I last bought beer, it was $48 for 2.4. That's double the price of the beer.
Damn.
And then there, if you get like Corona or Bud Light, it's probably $25, maybe $20 ish.
Yeah.
Minimum, like you pay like $25 for a 2.4.
Yeah, who was paying for all that alcohol when you guys were doing all these parties?
It
and you
was
guys
a
splitting it?
company money,
Okay.
right?
Nelk card.
Yeah. Well, bank card.
Yeah.
You don't get a card. You just put your. Well, it does have the
That's
name,
what
but
I
you don't have a
visited.
specific card. You know,
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
bougie.
Yeah, and then how come you guys chose Corona out of all the beers?
Sorry?
Great question.
How come
Great
Corona
one.
out of all beers, you guys were like Corona? We're trying to get that.
I think
brand
the philosophy with that was easy to market, easier to drink,
Mhm.
and the taste of it just
Was
with
better,
the
yeah.
lime on it. You know,
Rona season, man.
Did they ever give you guys like sponsorship money for
No,
like
of course not.
promoting? That's crazy. Not even free cases?
obviously not.
What?
But do you know the reason why they don't do that? Why beer companies don't do that?
Why?
Because if you ever noticed, I mean, maybe because you guys are too young to notice this, but if you ever watch a beer commercial, if Corona, Budweiser, any commercial, they don't actually drink the alcohol in the commercial because they don't want to promote people drinking. Like it's just really the whole advertising of beer is just to sell the product. What you do with the product now, that's on you. That's up to them. Like what you want to do, how much you want to drink.
They don't
But
want to be responsible for like
they don't want to
people
be responsible
getting
for
drunk.
people's deaths or suing the company. Be like, hey, like Budweiser made me this drunk. They promoted me. They drink in the commercials. I don't know. I'm just giving a theory here, right? So they don't want to promote people drinking or binge drinking their product, because then they don't want to get sued by people saying, hey, you're the reason why I got arrested or the reason why I was in the hospital or I got assaulted.
You're the reason why I shit in a urinal. Like,
yeah, exactly.
No, that's just stupidity.
that's just a stupidity. That's no
Alcohol-
drinking.
Like,
That's just
no,
stupidity.
no, that's just stupidity. that's
keep
just
going back to
desperation.
it.
Like this guy felt like he was on. It was
okay.
definitely that guy definitely felt like he was on an island. Like he was like, he felt like he was in an episode of Lost. It's like I have to take a shit, but I can't take shit in the toilet because it's probably filled. I can't do it outside because that's actually not sanitary.
Yeah.
So why not do it in a urinal? That's more sanitary.
So wait, you said there was 3 doors. One had the toilets, one urinal, one had the doors again.
So
like male,
so
female.
to kind of paint a picture, it's like pick a door.
Yeah, it's like you had 3
Which one do you want to go?
Take your pick.
First door is just a toilet.
Yeah.
Second door has 2 urinals, and then the third door is just another toilet.
Unless maybe he was like he had to go bad and maybe thought the other ones were like full and he's like, I gotta go somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, and speaking of that, I just remembered. So the Clout House, you know how there was a big house?
Yeah.
So the same landlord actually built 3 other houses along the same street, all connected to each other side by side, all identical.
And then what happened?
So they're all smaller. They're smaller ones, right? But they're all identical.
I already know where this is
Yeah,
going,
no,
right?
but no.
You gotta play it like you don't.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
No, because Jesse already told the story. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know you're going.
And then what
He
happened
told the
from
story.
that?
But actually, I'll say this on eventually, if ever we do a podcast together, I will say it to them too, because I do remember from a third person perspective what happened, because I think other people saw what happened when he got back to our place, because he said he went to 3 parties, which I remember we were texting him back and forth. He's like, hey, I'm at this party, like we're not going out, like we're done.
Yeah.
We went to the club and like it was like 2 a.m. We're good, right? From what I remember though, from what I heard from, I think it was Foosh or somebody else, I think it was somebody that saw him, he hopped the gate, because there's a gate and it's locked, and then you have the front door. He hopped the gate to get inside, because I guess the owner left the door open or something, and then he got into the garage maybe. I don't remember what side, but he had to hop the fence to get inside. And then I think it was the owner who told this guy Foosh the story of what his perspective was, because he woke up at 5 a.m. This was when Jesse was sleeping upstairs and he left the sink on, right? And I told you guys said at the show, when he went to go get dressed, he saw water dripping from his closet, because his room, just like every other house, is on the 3rd floor. The master bedroom's on the 3rd floor, and then the kitchen's on the 4th floor. Yeah. So when he saw water dripping from his closet, the ceiling, he got suspicious. So he went upstairs. That's when he saw that the kitchen was flooded, and then that's when he called the cops. And so then the reason why Foosh came outside was because him and another guy, I think it was Mitch, they ordered Uber Eats food. Mm-hmm. And then the cops showed up, the sirens are going off, so they noticed that. And when they got the food, they saw Jesse coming out in handcuffs going into the police car. And then the owner was like, who is this? Like, do you know this guy? Does he live here? And then obviously Jesse was saying like, I live here, like, right? Yeah. But then, as he said, Foosh was luckily there right outside on the street. And then he went to the officer. And I think the officers, what I was told is that they knew this Foosh.
Okay.
Who is Foosh?
Foosh is like a voice actor.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Fooshi.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, his name's out there anyways. but he was familiar with the cops, because these cops come to the house all the time for like noise complaints, like I was saying. So he went to the office like, yeah, officer, he lives here, like he lives in this house. So luckily for him, if he wasn't there, that Jesse would have went downtown in a cop car and obviously get detained. Yeah. So he was actually like blessed to be in that outside.
Shout out Foosh.
Yeah. So that's the other part of the story that he kind of didn't add. Yeah. Because he obviously doesn't remember the entire story. Yeah. So that's why I know this story, because of the owner telling Foosh and then Foosh telling me this story. Mm-hmm. That's why.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys are hearing any dog sounds,
It's
The
tutors.
DeTulio's mom just got home, and the dog loves her. So
Well, the dog loves us because he was chilling here the
Yeah, he
entire
was
time sleeping.
He's just chilling.
But he just
Toadsy.
left.
we love
he just,
Toady.
He
Hey,
just
Toady,
left a lot.
come.
He
Yeah,
just
but I
left a
think
lot of
we
dog
need
fur.
that. We need that full send next 905 podcast to happen, man.
Oh yeah, Kyle, make it happen, man.
I
Make
mean-
it happen.
We'll see though.
We'll see.
We'll see though, because it's not up to me. It's up to him.
Yeah,
And also too, it depends. Like if I was to make if I was to make the trip out to LA, and I told him, hey guys, like I'm in LA.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll set it up. Oh, he's
Yeah.
back.
Being like a longtime Nelk fan, that video was sick to see, sick to watch. I was reading the comments. A lot of people
Yeah.
showed love, and yeah, I think you guys should just do one more thing again together with Jesse and all you guys. Like you're saying, I think there was a mention of a trip or something like that.
Yeah.
somewhere, so-
Well, the thing is though, like knowing Kyle, like when he says something and he says it on camera or he says it in person,
Mhm.
he will stick to that plan. Like it takes time to plan out these trips, but
Yeah.
or whatever the case
He'll get
may
it
be,
done.
but he will get it done. He is the type of guy that doesn't say no and is determined to make that happen, whether it's next week, a month from now, or a year from now, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, if I get the call from him, be like, hey, we're going to do this trip. Like, you down? Be like, say less,
There you go.
right? Because it would be fun. And it's funny because you know how Taylor Swift is on her tour?
Yeah.
I was thinking because he was mentioning old members and new members. You know where I'm going. The Eras trip.
Oh, okay.
Because you have the OG older members from like pre 2019, and then you have when you have Austin, you had Alex, you had another Alex who was an editor, you had Clay, you had Drew, all those guys, the 2019 Clout House
Right.
version, and then you had Salim, and then you have Cousin Jay, and then you have Gabe, you have Steiny, you have
Chaffee.
Chaffee, you have all these newer members, you know, come in after 2020. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like the era,
Mhm.
that, you know.
Two different eras. Yeah.
It's almost like Civil War.
No,
Avengers.
not at all. No,
Madness.
no, even Salim, he was chill too. Like seeing him again, like he was funny. He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
He's so funny. Like he's just so naturally funny that he could like have a conversation with you, say the most funniest like random things,
Yeah.
and you just go along with it because it's like, you know, he's a comedian,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
he likes to joke and troll people, but like there's a difference too when you're trolling somebody with funny jokes and then you have terrible jokes. It's like
me.
why even say that? Like that joke was terrible. Like Gambles, like he would say the funniest things,
Gambles.
but it makes no sense and it's absolutely like what?
Give me like an example. Do you have any example?
No, I can't think off the top of my head because there's so many times when he said so many random
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense, but it's funny.
Yeah, but it's
know?
like you guys have that like similar comedy because you were from like the same like upbringing and stuff.
Neighborhood,
Same neighborhood. Like it's
yeah.
like my friends from high school. We can say only like certain things that like we'll know is funny because
Exactly.
we
It's,
know
it's
each
all
other,
about
but-
like the neighborhood slang or the neighborhood like talks that you guys
Yeah.
create, you know? So
yeah, for sure.
I don't know about you guys, like what are some things that you kind of like grew up with, like sayings that not people from the city like me would know?
You guys would know more because you were
I don't know.
I
closer.
don't know, man.
That's,
Like, of course, like we used to say like Toronto slang things like in like grade 10 because it was just like a stupid thing.
Like the Scarborough
Yeah.
things?
Like we like yo like say less, man.
well, we're just
Well,
doing
say
it
less
like-
is actually no. That's
Or you wouldn't say
or
it
like foul.
Or we
word.
would only do it like that.
But like I would do it kind of like, you know, Toronto guy Cody, like he kind of
Yeah.
used to like do that.
I heard
funny
of
kinda-
this guy.
Does that
Right?
guy
I
still
don't-
make videos and stuff?
I heard, apparently
I
not.
don't
No, I
know.
don't think so.
Yeah, but it was like a funny thing back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
now it's like let's get wired.
What does that mean?
It's like let's get like turned, like let's get hyped, like let's get wired.
It's like our version of full.
That's our
Send
shout out
almost.
to Anthony
Like whenever we're
Macedo.
going out, we're at the club. We know Anthony Macedo. You guys know him. That's
Yeah.
like his one saying.
Here, let me
Like,
find a
let's
video of
get
him
wired.
Just
doing
get
that.
wired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, it sounds like you're just like plugging into a gaming.
Yeah, like
Let's get wired. Like I'm wired in.
It's very versatile.
Here, like I'll show you a video. I'll show you a video of my buddy Macedo doing the let's get wired.
Wait, what is he Italian?
He's Portuguese.
Look.
At the Maddie. Shout out.
Shout out.
So he does that every single time we go to the Maddie. Like he'll go and say, let's get fucking wired. Let's get wired.
Let's run back. Let's see.
Yeah, he does it every time, man.
Wow.
Every time.
There you
Yeah.
have
What
it.
do you got on? Whoa! What do you got on these stories? Jeez.
What is it?
Like,
He's just
Don't
trying-
expose me, man. What do I got on there?
oh, barrels. I was like, this.
Oh yeah, no, it's just
I thought
our
that
stomachs. man.
looked like someone was pregnant.
yeah. Hey, man.
I wasn't sure what I was looking at. I'm like, is this person pregnant? Like, no,
Okay, do you want to show them the video?
no. I'm
It's
okay.
just us like going like
No. You can't show
we
that.
just were showing our barrels, man. That's it. You never like admire
Nah,
barrels?
I can't relate.
Barrels.
Barrel, yeah, we have like a lot
Yeah,
of
that's
words like that, like barrels, let's get wired. Like it's like using like obscure words for like basic things.
Okay.
I think that's like more of our like slang. It's like
You know what I've been
You know?
seeing on my
like horrendous, brutal. Like we'll say
brutal
that a
is
lot.
brutal is a word that I've came to like use throughout the years. It's just that's brutal.
It's pretty brutal,
like
right?
you know, like when someone says a terrible joke in your group, like man,
Yeah.
that was actually brutal.
yeah,
That joke is
that's
brutal.
how we talk, man. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's egregious.
That's a very technical word.
Yeah.
Egregious.
Yeah.
Very verbose.
What does that mean?
What's that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Knowing a lot of verbs,
Mm.
right? Being verbose,
Ah.
right? It's like
Okay.
you have
Okay.
a vast vocabulary of verbs.
Yeah, that's a very strong vocabulary you got there.
Thanks, man.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Who knows if these words are
But you know
real
what
or
though?
not.
I actually I got that word because I watch a lot of Law and Order SVU,
Mm.
and obviously as a lawyer you say that because if you don't say allegedly in a courtroom, it's like if you don't say that word, you're basically either telling the truth or you're lying.
Yeah.
So you have to say allegedly to kind of like keep it neutral. So like the courtroom, when they hear that, they're like, okay, like it's kind of like a general statement. Like allegedly, allegedly he got beaten up by this guy.
Yeah.
You know, allegedly you were there. Cause you know,
Allegedly.
there's a saying of Training Day. Have you guys watched Training Day?
Yeah.
Okay.
With
Because we were
Denzel Washington, right?
what year were you born again?
04.
01.
Yeah, well,
Okay, so you guys, it's funny enough, you guys were born when that movie came out.
Wow.
That's how old I am, and that's how young you are. 2001 it came out, and
Wait, what year were you born?
94. I'm old.
Holy
So that's why
shit.
Kyle's the tattoo 94, right? 1994.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, because we grew up we're the same age.
Yeah.
So one line that stood out to me was Denzel's line to Jake, Ethan Hawke. At the very end of the movie, he's like, "It's not what you know, it's what you can prove." That stood out to me because it's like it's so true. Just because you know something, how can you prove that it actually happened? So that's why I say allegedly too, because it's like allegedly this person did this, because how do you know it actually happened if you don't have proof?
905 lawyer.
this is
No, I'm not a lawyer.
true.
Would you ever think of like doing a degree in something else and like, learning a whole new skills or anything that, you find curious that you would want to get into one day?
Maybe someday, but right now, I'm not trying to spend money on things that like school.
Yeah.
Have you? I recently heard from a podcast that this year is an all-time low for university enrollments
I was just watching my Vice
Really?
Happiness one and they were talking about that.
on the money. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
live stream. Yeah, like. And
true.
it's not surprisingly
No,
because people don't want to go to
expensive.
school nowadays because they realize throughout the years, like I wasted minimum 20K
Yeah. And,
tuition per year
Mhm.
Man.
on a degree that majority of people don't actually use.
Yeah.
I remember I was reading a study a couple of years ago about this one person I think it was on a podcast, was saying that I think 80% of people who are straight A students who graduate with honors, who graduate with a degree or a bachelor's in university and as a straight A student, those majority of group of people don't end up pursuing the career that they graduated in university for. So like psychology,
Mhm.
psych, or what's the other big majors that people go to
Like
university?
social
Commerce.
Oh,
or
yeah.
Business
Or,
or engineering or one of
yeah.
those. Science.
Like, well, now you guys are graduated. Obviously, you are too. Like, when you were first getting out of school, do you have friends now that you knew
Just now?
from university
Just now.
that have used their degrees to get a job right away now after school?
Well, a lot of my friends are still in school. They took like a 5th year.
Mm.
But like for me, like I didn't get a job in business or commerce right now. Like my like
There you go.
plan was to do the commerce degree and then to figure out what I wanted to do in that time period, and then like learn general things like accounting, finance, marketing, and like touch on all those things so that I would be able to use that in my own business, which is sort of how this kind of came about. I was like, okay, I can use a little bit of this knowledge for this, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say like I'm doing some sort of corporate Big Four job like Deloitte or like, you know, KPMG, which is what you kind of should be doing with my degree, but I'm not. So you bring up a good point.
But at the same time though, so you're the 80% of people, of students that graduated with a degree that ended up not using their degree in a full-time career or job, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the bright side to it is that you have the commerce and you have the business knowledge now. Now that you're an entrepreneur
Right.
and you're in a podcast and you have this as your brand for you, I'm talking specifically for you because now you could use your knowledge to help these guys when it comes to business side of managing your money, how to commerce, how to e-commerce, how to sell your stuff online, right? Shopify merch or store or whatever store you got online. And then that way you could help these guys sell more.
Yeah. It definitely like helps you know a rough idea of things. But like I think like as you can know through doing various jobs, like what you know from school is really only like 10% of what is actually going on. And I think like learning on the job is probably better. So like this is like learning on the job in a way, but like it's, you know, a podcast or a brand, a shop, what's it called? Like, you know, a clothing brand. I think I learn best through like doing stuff. And hey, if you're into getting merch, www.shopunmaster.com, little plug there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like you learn through doing it. And like I always like, I put that out there. You know, we wouldn't know how to make merch if we didn't actually try. We wouldn't know how to sell it if we didn't try setting up the Shopify site. So I think learning by doing is like more effective, at least for me, than learning through the books.
Yeah. Do you guys have t-shirts, by the way?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
man.
do.
So I mean, you don't have to, but another thing to do is wear your own merch.
Yeah. For
Well,
sure.
we got it up here,
Yeah.
but like,
But at the same
Yeah.
time though too, so this is what I learned from myself. You have to also promote your brand and show the merch and show it how it fits on people, right? And even your hat too. Like people are gonna look at your hat like, this is comfy, this is, you know, it fits well, it's a snapback, you could adjust it. But then the shirts too, like when people see that in person, when they see that in a video, like I'm not sponsored by Nike, but when they see this Nike hoodie, it's a vintage Nike hoodie.
Yeah.
They see this hat, they're like, this is a cool hat. Where do you get this hat?
Yeah.
Right? They're gonna be curious. They're gonna ask me like, where'd you get this? Right?
Yeah.
They're gonna say the same thing to you. Like, okay, that hoodie there. Where'd you get the hoodie? Oh, obviously they know it's from you guys, but like, where can I find this hoodie? Right? You put this in your Instagram post. You make videos on Unmastered like stories, right? Or even on your personals. But like, hey, new merch guys, or you post like professionally taken photos and create videos out of it. You can hire somebody to create a little merch drop for you guys, and that way you kind of hype it up for yourselves, for your audience, and people who want to buy it. And you'd be surprised of like who's watching your videos in what countries, like UK, Europe.
Did
We-
you?
No, it's crazy.
who
Most of
kinda
our
went
sales are not even Canadians.
yeah, we got
Actually.
a lot of our sales. Yeah, tell them where
Americans.
they got them from.
Yeah.
We got them like
Idaho,
Albuquerque, New
Delaware,
Jersey, Delaware, like you
Yeah.
said, Indiana. Like,
Yeah.
well, like of course, like we're not like selling like the Nelk boys used to,
Yeah,
but
of course
like
not.
we're getting like, you know, a good amount of sales that are not from where we're from. And what's
Yeah.
interesting is like you'd think you'd get more sales from your own town and from your own buddies and stuff, which is just not the case. Like you're gonna get sales from random people, and that's for anything though, and any art. You're gonna get those streams from people that are not from your town. You're gonna get people to like your photo. All these things are from like the internet. They're not from where you're from.
Yeah.
That's only such a small group, right?
Yeah. So before you get into your point, I just want to say real quickly, that's a very good point you made, because you notice that a lot of people that are within the same community, same general area, typically don't want to support you for whatever reason it is. Maybe because it's ego, or maybe because they just don't want to like feel embarrassed to rep someone that nobody knows who they are. Right? Because they want to rep something that people know about.
They want
but when
proven thing.
But when other people, like you're saying, in like all these states, they want to represent it because nobody knows who it is, but they want to feel different now. They want to stand out more, right? People here, they kind of don't want to stand out, but then the ones here that actually buy your merch and actually show support are the real ones, right? But what were you saying?
Shout out Aiden Skier over there. He's got our merch on. Yeah, sure. Come on, real quick, guys. Speaking of underrated artists, guys.
Step back for a second.
Come over here. Come over here.
Get it in the water. Okay.
You want to talk?
Nah, literally, what you were saying about the whole like thing with people supporting you who are close to you. Like, I make music and stuff, and it's like you realize that the amount of people that like you see in person, like they're not on the same vibe. Like, unless you like with these guys, like these guys have been doing it forever. Like Julian did like he used to do vlogs and stuff, and like I was tapped in since then, and we met each other online. But it's like I respect these guys hustle. Like even right now they just moved and they put like this whole studio set up. I'm sure you guys will have a video on it soon, but it's like they brought all of this stuff together. But you realize in any type of artwork scenario, it's like it is random people. Like I had this show. I'm gonna leave soon. Like I had this show that these guys came to, and I'm sure you saw like this girl that I barely knew. She made me like an art piece for the show, like for my performance. I never met her before ever, like in my entire life, and like she came and painted me a picture, and it's like some of my own friends that I've known since elementary school think they're too cool to come support. So it's like
it's dope.
Shout out. Unmastered.
Yeah, shout out to Unmastered. And he's the one handling all the audio and the recording. So
yeah, man.
So in case you're wondering, like, who is this guy?
Yeah,
you know
just
how
came out of nowhere.
No, you know how Conor McGregor's like, who the fuck is this guy? That's who he is. He's the one behind the camera, because I was telling these guys, like, it's a good thing you have him here. Mm-hmm. Right? You don't want to be a host leaving the set to fix everything and make sure the audio is right. You got to have a fourth person, fifth person, whoever it is, to kind of manage the cameras for you guys, because you need a team built around you to make it a successful podcast, right?
I got a question. So you were so closely tied to like Nelk and Full Send, right?
Yeah.
What did you notice were like the business tactics behind making it so successful, and like the management tactics?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, honestly, the thing is though, when it comes to marketing stuff and hyping stuff up, is first having to build a culture, building a brand, and building an audience. Mm-hmm. That's the first step. The biggest thing that I took away from that, and Kyle was obviously smart with whatever he's accomplished in the last 10 years, but within the last 5 years, it's having to now do things that people love to see you do, and basically embrace that culture that you're growing now. So once you start that process of building your fan base, building an audience, kind of like, well, that's the thing though, people know me for that, but I've also started to now hopefully I've started to grow my own audience of people that appreciate my photography and my video content and work, right? That's the first, and that's, like I said, the hardest thing to do. Yeah. Once you start doing that and you laid out the baseline, then you start creating content. You start taking the photos, you start creating videos, you start promoting that, and you take time of promoting that like every week until you announce a date when people finally get to know when you're going to have this drop. Mm-hmm. And that was the marketing stuff. Like we would film things for like a week or two, filming a bunch of photos and video content that we would do at the house or do at studios or wherever it may be, and have all that content saved up. And then you start dropping it every week in every video, because we had millions of people watching that video, where at least 1% of that, like that's like what, 10,000 people? No, million. 1% of a million is what, 10,000 people?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So you have 1% of 10,000 people who are interested in seeing that and they want to buy that. And then the next week, maybe you gain that to 2% or 5% of people now who see that and they want to buy that, right? Then you start creating the hype of, okay, you have this dropping, the hoodies or the hats, I guess the shotgun tools, right? For example, right? Or even like the keychains, whatever it is. Then once you start building that hype around all of what you're creating, then you finally drop it on your Shopify or your store, online store. That way now people are going to be waiting. Like Kyle said on his podcast, 300K people were waiting on that merch drop in Rome. We were in Rome and 300 people were on the site 30 minutes before the drop even began.
Yeah, it's all that kind of building that momentum and hype up for that one day. And now it's finally released and everyone has that whole excitement from seeing these promotional clips and pictures. Like, how was that feeling? Like, you guys are putting in all this work, getting all this stuff ready, and then seeing that like 300,000 people waiting for it and like selling out in a matter of like 10 minutes. Like, how's that feeling, that reward of...
Before the drop, it was obviously stressful because like people like who are working behind the scenes, who are handling the business side and like the Shopify and all the back end stuff. Obviously, they're like, well, let's make sure that the site doesn't crash. Let's make sure that everything is good. The site is working. People are able to buy stuff. Yeah. Then obviously once it sells out, we're obviously relieved. We're all happy. We're all celebrating that, okay, this was a successful drop, right? And that was the biggest one that, well, probably the biggest one they've done, because that's what Kyle said too. Like, I didn't know the numbers, by the way. Like, that was actually the first time I've ever heard the numbers that Kyle mentioned. Jeez. When he mentioned that, I'm like, really? Like, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Can you give us an estimate? Or
he said on the podcast it was 13 million.
13 million
in profit. Wow. And I don't ask questions when it comes to the business side like that. But when I heard that, I'm like, really? Jeez. Wow.
Yeah. And did you get like a percentage of that?
No.
Really?
No, because well, in terms of salary, yeah, sure.
Yeah, but you were like an employee technically.
Yeah, but no, see, that's the thing that people don't understand is that working and owning are two different things, right? People who are investing in a company, they get a percentage of all the profit that they make yearly, right? So I know a guy who has 1%, just 1% of Flair Airlines, and he makes so much money because of all the stocks and profits that they make yearly. And that's a lot of money. That's $1 billion company, probably $1 billion, more than that. But he like a 1% of $1 billion, 100K.
100K, yeah.
So the whole time that you were coming up with them, it was always like 50-50 him and Jesse?
Yeah, because they're the sole owners of it. And
you never had like a thought of like trying to ask for that? Or did you ever ask for that?
No.
Really? Do you regret that a little bit? Because you were with them like from the beginning. Like I would have, me like being somewhat like we're all founders of Unmastered and we split it whatever 3 ways.
33%.
Yeah, but like if someone else were to come in and like dedicate their whole lives to us, and like let's say maybe we didn't have the money to pay them, I don't know how it was with you guys, but I would definitely think of giving them like equity. And it's interesting, like you were working for them paid or always paid, like or were you like just working for them for free? Like how did it work?
Well,
like in the beginning.
Actually, yeah, Kyle said it too, but I'll say it on this podcast. Like it was for free. Like I was working part-time at Walmart. Yeah. And whenever I had the day off, I would go meet up with Kyle, Jesse, Lucas at the time, and I would just take photos for them. And at that time, I was only doing it for 2 years, photography. So I was really brand new to it. Right. I had a Canon I had a Canon Rebel T5, which is a basic crop censored amateur camera. And I was just, the quality of it is pretty trash when you think about it too, right? And yeah, I was just doing it for free because I'm like, I want to prove to them, because they're the ones that I approached them. I approached them with the idea, specifically Kyle. I gave him the idea like, hey, let me take photos for you guys because you guys should all be in the camera, right? Right. And so I want to make a good impression on them. Like you said at the very beginning, impressions, right? Yeah. Right. You want to make a good impression on them because then you want to prove to them through your work that you are capable of being a photographer and being able to take photos for them. Yeah. That way, once you start building their trust, and this is just not for them, but for anyone you meet in life, whether it's business or personal, you want to build a rapport with them. You want to build some trust with them. Once you start building that trust with them, then they could start talking to you later on about doing business and you being paid for something now. Then obviously once that happened, I got paid $50 per shoot, which is, it's it's easy
Yeah,
money when
sure,
you're working
yeah.
a part-time job at
Yeah,
Walmart, right?
yeah,
Which Walmart was paying me decent, but
Yeah.
wasn't paying me enough,
Yeah, of course.
right? And then eventually, once that happened, it was about a year after that happened in 2016 is when I approached Kyle with that. 2017 is when he started saying the idea like you should start quitting your job. Like it would probably be better for you if you joined us because you have more potential. You're gonna start making more money than what you did, and you're gonna, be more happier with what you're doing in this situation than you are at Walmart. Because Walmart, you can't do that. Like unless you're like already, unless you're already a parent and like you need a job and you want to keep a job, go for it. Like I know people there that've been working there for 20 years, 30 years, and they're all parents, right? And they have to. But with us as young adults, like you don't have to work there. I know some people that work there for 10 years and they're like the same age as me. And not because they want to, but they chose to because they have to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So you were working very closely with them, and it was really only you three guys, right? At that start.
Before Lucas left, it was just them three. So I still remember everything, by the way. Like I still remember when they because I was obviously watching Kyle's videos in high school because they started in 2010, and they were doing skits for the first 3 years.
Okay.
Right. So I still remember the old days of like their comedy skits and like, going to our local train stations or local tins and just doing random skits. That's when it started for them. And then going to like their friends' houses and just like doing all these random skits. I still remember a lot of them. And so then, where was I going with this? So then it was Kyle, Lucas, Nick, and Mark, the two twins that went to LA the very first time they went to LA together. That's when they did that whole like life in Nelk. They had the vlog channel, second channel. That's what they did all behind the scenes. They were living in Wilshire, 1010 Wilshire. Because I kept up with them as a viewer back then. So I knew all this stuff as a viewer, just like you guys were as a viewer. Yeah. And I remember like these are stories I never told anybody. It was so funny though. Like, and I think Kyle said this on a couple podcasts too. But I would be at my Tim Hortons, my local Tim Hortons, where I filmed that video with him when we were kind of catching up. I would be sitting at a table just watching their YouTube videos while like I was coming back from school. Wow. And I was going to Humber at the time, and I would just be watching their YouTube videos and just laughing my ass off and with headphones, right? And I remember Kyle walking with Lucas, he walking with our buddies like Mully, Alex, Julian at the time, and they would just come in and get some and I think Nico and Marco were there too. And they would just get their Tims and like, hey, what's good, guys? Like, what's up? Like, and then they would see me with my laptop, and I would be watching a Nelk video and like watching their like fake employee prank, for example. This was 2014. And then I would watch their LA videos when they went to LA, and like they did the 7 ways to compliment boobs or even the Coke prank. That was 2015, but that was the second time they went because the first time was just them four. And then the second time they went to LA, they lived in that condo was Kyle, Lucas, and Jesse. And that's when they had from like, I believe it was 2015 to 2017. Right. And then that's when I came in after Lucas because he left February 2017. I joined in September 2017. And I'm going to actually I'll tell this again probably, but the very first time I joined them was the week after I joined them, September 20th, 2017. We go to Sudbury for 4 days. And I don't know if you remember watching the Sudbury videos, but when they did Chirping Hockey Dads. There's no scouts here in Clifton Hills at 9 p.m. That dad joke, and that dad actually watched the video. It was hilarious. And I remembered we went to a local hockey game. We were telling, I think Kyle told this one kid like, hey, we're gonna pull up to this game at 8 o'clock at this arena. And we didn't tell, like, the group on the Nelk page didn't say anything on Instagram like we're gonna be at this game. It was all word of mouth. So literally, as we pull in, 50 to like 75 kids just leave the arena while a game is going on just to go to the front lobby just to say hi to us. And like, it was all in the video, by the way. Like this was all captured on video, and they were all happy to see us. And I remembered we got kicked out and the game got canceled because it was the start of the third period, and the referees are like, everybody needs to go back inside because we have a game going on. If the game doesn't continue, because I guess like they needed people to watch the game for them, I guess, and they canceled the game because nobody would go back into that hockey arena to watch the game, and they came for us instead. And so they're like, yeah, like you need to leave the arena. Like people who work there, like, yeah, you got to leave. And like, yeah, we got kicked out. We got kicked out. We were the reason why we canceled a local hockey game, and then had to leave the arena. And then so we filmed it the next night. We went to another place called, I think it was Cliff something in Sudbury. And then they did the same video, but then it was less people, and we didn't tell anybody. And then that's when Kyle did his whole bit with like the being a scout and everything, and like talking like to these dads. It was so funny. And that was the first week I did that. And then that's when we did the trip the week after, where we went to New Jersey, New York, and Boston. That was the first time that we did a whole like US trip. And we went to Rutgers University. We did a fake employee prank as a motel employee in Buffalo. And then New Jersey, I think we did that. And then we did security at New York, in Boston. We at Harvard, I think they did fake security. New York, they did the fake Foot Locker employee. Well, like, they were not happy about that one. Like, and honestly, you could go back and watch these videos. Like those, like there's different times of like videos of like when this happened, like the New Jersey one with the fake motel employee, security, Foot Locker, and then they did selling drugs to students at Harvard. That video got taken down because someone in the video, it was like, yeah, I'm fine with being on camera. And then days later, he reported the video for having his face in there. And then we didn't blur the video and we didn't save the video. So then the video got taken down by YouTube because the guy reported it and we didn't blur his face. And he was in the moment, he's like, yeah, I want to be on camera. I don't care. And then obviously after watching the video, it's like, no, take me off this video. I don't want to be in it. Right.
So, but even though he agreed to it initially, you still have to take it down.
And there were a lot of times when people who initially at the very beginning wanted to be on camera, and then after the video came out, they said, no, like take me out of this video. And then that's when like Boston was the first time. New York and Boston were the first time where like people there really showed love. Like Boston was insane when we got there.
Like, how so?
Like just the crowd there, they had so much energy. We basically shut down a mall because we were in a public area hosting a meet and greet sort of pretty much. And when you do that, you're basically inciting a riot. And then you can't do that unless it's a scheduled event with the city and it's planned. And that's what happened in Ireland. Right, when we said that we're going to go to Phoenix Park in Ireland, in Dublin, and the cops found out, hundreds of kids showed up to that park, and if we went into that park, we would have got arrested because we were inciting a riot, and kids got arrested at that park because actually I have the video.
I remember was that the one you were showing us at the Dad Low show?
That was the video I showed you. It was 2019. It was when the kids were getting arrested. It was
if you can't find it, we'll put it.
I'll send you everything. I still have those videos, but I think it was through it was on my Instagram archives. I'll show you. I'll send you those. But like, those were just such good times. And then, it happened a few times. Like in Austin, we did a meet and greet at a park. We got lucky because there's not that many people. But Phoenix Park, Dublin, that was insane. And we talked to officers off camera. We went to a local pub, probably 20 minutes, 30 minutes away from the park. And there were actually still police patrolling the surrounding areas of the park, and they noticed us with the cameras. Like, these must be the guys that they were waiting for. So they came to us and they said, hey, if you were to go into that park and do that meet and greet, you would have been arrested because you incited a riot. Luckily, we just drove by there and we left. And then they're like, yeah, you really got lucky. Like, you did the smart thing by not going in there. But like, don't do it again, basically.
So basically, if you announce that it's like on your story, like, we're going to be here show up and then people come, you can get in trouble for that. But let's just say, like you're saying, you're at a mall, maybe you didn't announce it, but like a bunch of people there like recognize you guys. Holy shit, that's the Nelk boys. And then it starts a big commotion. Can you still
Yeah.
get in trouble for that or no?
I mean, so it's all situational. I would say, from my experience, it's like if you announce it ahead of time, and somehow the local police finds out about it, they're prepared now, like time, date, and location. They're gonna be ready for you to come there, and they're gonna arrest you for inciting a riot if there's like hundreds of people. But if it's like those situations, let's say like an artist or like a TikToker, for example, or a YouTuber just goes to a mall, casually goes to the mall, doesn't announce anything, and people are creating a big crowd, technically you can't get in trouble because you didn't say anything. It just naturally happened, where now security at the mall has to come in, and then you have to get escorted out of the mall and everything, and things like that happen. But like, it's also different if you announce it and the mall knows about this event happening, and there's actually security to actually make sure you're safe and that you are escorted. That's different. When you actually hold an event with like thousands of people being there and being able to meet or hear the person or talk to the person. It's all situational, right? And that's what happened with us. And then obviously the LA stuff happened. We did that a couple times. We road tripped around the United States. We went to I still remembered going from Mississauga to Hamilton to pick up Jesse. Then we stayed 2 nights driving to Washington, D.C. to do a video with this guy, Ownage Pranks. Back in the day, he's like an OG prank caller. And then we drove to Georgia. We stayed in South Carolina for a night. And then we drove from South Carolina. We drove all the way to Miami. And this is in 2 days. We drove from Washington to Miami. Get to Miami. We go to Tampa Bay. We go to Tampa to film with Juke Squad. Did a couple videos there. Then we drove from Tampa to New Orleans to Austin. This is all 8-hour drives, by the way. So from it's only like 4 hours driving from Miami to Tampa, but then from Tampa to New Orleans, 8 hours. New Orleans to Austin, 8 hours, and then that's when we did the whole meet and greet and all that, filming. We actually didn't film because it was Thanksgiving. And no students were home for no students were there for that time. And then we went to Arizona. We went to Tempe, Arizona, another 8-hour drive, and that's when we filmed with Big Dogs. When we did the beefing college football fans. So it was one of the biggest games in Arizona. It was Arizona State versus Arizona. And it was a football homecoming game, or not a homecoming, but it was a football game. And we were dressed up in ASU merch or ASU clothing, and they would just beef the Arizona students there, fans there, and it was so funny because you gotta watch that video. That's
I remember that
one of my favorite. Honestly, that was one of my favorite and funniest videos I've ever got to film, because people were legitimately wanting to fight them, beefing them, big. And Dawson, he's a big guy. He's 6'4", 6'3", 210 pounds. He's intimidating, right? And then from then on, we went from there to, and by the way, shout out to Arizona, man. Arizona State is my favorite university in the U.S.
There you go.
My personal favorite.
I have to go one day.
You should go.
We should go.
Tempe, Arizona.
I just want to go to Arizona in general.
Tempe, Arizona is fine. Scottsdale. Scottsdale is another party city. It's not too far from Tempe. But Scottsdale is more the suburban residential area, and then a lot of people party there, obviously. And then just Tempe, ASU is such a vibe. Mill Street's the street that you want to go on. I'm pretty familiar with a lot of the streets in the party streets in these cities, Miami, and 6th Street on Austin. And then you have Pacific Beach in San Diego. Because after we went to Tempe, we went to LA for a bit, and then we went to San Diego to film with Faze Rug. So Pacific Beach is where you want to go to. They have nice beaches there. La Jolla, San Diego. Well, La Jolla, California, it's close to San Diego. One of the most beautiful sunsets you ever see. Just ocean view with the beach. such a vibe.
So did you guys always rotate drivers? Because these are long, like
Of
road
course.
trips,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah, yeah.
All three of you guys?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
just-
Jesse would usually drive the night. I would drive probably afternoons, and then Kyle would drive in the mornings.
How many times do you guys have to stop? I don't you get cramps and
Oh gosh, don't get me started with that. Okay, we were in a Mazda 3.
and the mileage on that car too. Like
Yeah. There's a lot of kilometers, man. Like we would drive for hours. I would drive because 12-hour drives, by the way. I think it was like 12, 16-hour drives. Maybe by the way, I forgot to mention too, we didn't stop for no hotels or anything. We didn't shower for like 3 days, 2 days because we were always on the road. And whenever we went to a next destination, that's when we showered. When we finally got to a hotel or something, we would just shower there. But other than that, like it was one person drives, next person drives 5 hours. You know, if you get tired, rotate and just continue, right?
What would you guys do during that time? Like edit videos?
Yeah. I said it on the MBH podcast. We would
just editing.
we would just be editing in the car while they're driving. While someone's driving, I would be sitting in shotgun and I would be editing the videos, or Jesse would be editing a video, or Kyle when he's not driving, and then or we'd be sleeping.
Yeah, right.
Right.
And
And
then
then
were you guys just always eating fast food, like stopping places?
yeah,
like,
gas stations. We always just get some water at gas stations. We'll just get like whatever is available, like McDonald's.
Yeah.
I had to go through Taco Bell. Like, Taco Bell's trash.
The washroom after that too.
No, just trash.
You
in
ever go on the
general.
side of the road any of the times, or
Sorry?
you have to get out of the side of the road to go to the
Course,
washroom?
of course, man.
Of course.
If you have to go, you gotta go, man. Like that's the nature of it,
Yeah.
right? And driving, I just love driving in general.
Mm.
I
Driving is
actually
such-
have to go right now.
Sorry?
I actually have to piss.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Come in, Skier.
He's gonna hop in. We're gonna get a little.
Yeah, no, it's all
sub in
good. It's
here.
all good. Yeah.
Talking about it.
Oh my god.
But you know what? It's a psychological thing because when you think about we're using the washroom, that's when your mind tells
Is
you.
that true?
Because if you don't think about it, your brain tells you that you don't have to go.
Even when you get nervous or something, there's like something that happens with your bladder, no?
Activates the
It
system.
like activates it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that could be
It's like
it.
when you're like, I'm gonna go do a speech or something, and then you're like,
And sometimes you're nervous to go to the washroom.
Oh, you
and
have
then
to
it's
yak.
like, it's
Oh.
worse.
Some people yak because they're nervous.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or maybe because of what you ate.
You used to throw up a lot when you drink those Coronas, or no?
Oh yeah, you know what though, like if I would like go like 6 beers, I would have to like. I remembered. Okay,
What's the
6
most you
beers
ever
is
drank?
limit,
Beers you
eh?
ever drank in one night?
probably 8
Yeah.
Beers, okay.
ish,
Mhm.
give or take. But I
Yeah.
remembered it only happened twice. Twice where I was completely. One time I was blacked out. That was one time. Another. There was only twice where I actually had to yak while going out. And I remembered it was in Mississauga. Shout out to Door 55.
Okay.
Rest in peace to Door 55, Streetsville. I remembered I was drinking so much Coronas before we even went out to the pre. And then when we got there, I was just, you know how the typical slam the Coronas.
Yeah.
I remembered I did that like once and I was just yakking outside. Luckily, the bouncers didn't see me, so I
Oh, yeah.
didn't so I didn't get kicked out.
Yeah.
Then right before the Uber, I had to yak before the Uber ride. This Uber driver this Uber driver blessed me so good because I had to yak again. I was in shotgun. He pulled over, let me yak, and I got back inside. Nothing, like he didn't have any cleaning fees, and I was
Yeah.
blessed. I'm like, thank you, sir. Like you blessed us. And then the other time was in Orlando. So, this is a funny story. Nick, actually, I'll wait for Nick to come back because this is a funny story for Nick to like kind of hear this story because he's gonna be like, it's funny. Yeah,
coming right now.
yeah. Don't take too long.
Yeah, get over here.
I actually have to use the washroom after too.
I know.
but
I love
after
he
I
had to piss this
You
one.
might have to go washroom break.
no, after I tell
After
the story.
story.
After I tell the story, you guys could like, but no. So Nick, so basically I was telling them about how I've only had to yak twice while going out and I blacked out once. And this was in Orlando. It's Kissimmee, Florida. Kissimmee is actually a beautiful place you guys should check out. It's right beside SeaWorld and it's like a touristic area, right? So these two girls were visiting from Ottawa. No, was it Ottawa? They were visiting from Ottawa, but they went to Guelph at the time. And Kyle just talked to them. They're like, "Hey, they stay in Orlando on summertime vacations." So we invited them over. We're playing Pong. It was Kyle and this one girl. Can't remember. Oh, Audrey. I think it was Audrey. And I was playing with this girl named Katie. And it's like whoever loses has to take a shot of tequila, right? And my partner was absolutely trash at pong. I've never seen more air balls than Ben Simmons.
Oh.
Like she would be throwing the ball across the table, just hitting the table. I wouldn't even hear the crack of the cup. Like
he just hits it.
I don't play beer pong often, but when I do, there's like a rare time that I would get an air ball hit the table. I would at least hit the rim. This girl didn't even hit the rim. So I had to carry her like I'm LeBron James, carry the team, right? Unfortunately, I lost because she was so trash.
Right.
And she's like, I don't want to take the shot no more. I'm like, wow. So not only were you bad at playing pong, you didn't want to take the shot. So I had to take, so before they even came, I took a shot of tequila. So that's one shot. Then I took 2 shots for her because one for myself, one for her. I was the nice gentleman to take a shot for them.
Yeah.
So then I was dumb enough to say, oh, Kyle was like, you want to do double or nothing? We'll play a second game.
Oh, God.
And if you win, you don't drink. If we lose, we drink. So, you know what? I said to myself, I'm like, you know what? I don't need this girl. Respectfully, I don't need her because if I'm going to lose, I want to lose my own terms.
Right.
So, you know, because think about this. Like you as a team sport, you don't want to lose because of someone else.
Yeah.
If you're going to lose, you want to lose because it was your fault. So I'm thinking like, yo, I'm now taking over. Like I'm Tiger Woods now. It's individual sport. I'm playing 2v1. It's a handicap, like it's a wrestling match, you know, handicap match. Yeah. So I'm just hitting whatever cups I can. They eventually win. So then at this point, I'm up 5 shots, blacked out. And I just fell asleep on the couch. I remembered too, I made a Snapchat to all my boys back home in a group chat. I'm like, fuck you. Like, I know you're watching this. Like, chirp, like just roasting all of them.
Yeah.
And I wake up the next morning and I don't remember. I kind of remember it happening, but then I don't remember what happened after because I completely like just fell asleep for like 8 hours. I woke up the next morning and I was hearing all this other stuff that's happening. And I'm like, I don't remember any of this. Like, what's going on? You know, and it was so funny that when that happened, that was the only one and only time that I blacked out that I, you know, couldn't remember it the rest
Only
of the night.
5 shots and you blacked out?
Well, think about this too. I was also drinking Coronas at the time.
So you're mixing.
I was mixing and matching, like, you know, on a date.
Yeah.
And Coronas, like they say, the classic story is liquor before beer, you're in the clear.
Beer before liquor, never been sicker.
Oh.
Yeah.
See that?
Right. So it wasn't a good
But now
combination.
you're good. Now you're sober.
Yeah, but even after that night, knowing that, I'm like, I'm never going to have beer and then liquor. I would have to take liquor first, then have the beers, and I'm chilling. You know, but the thing is though, like
Being chilling.
I'm chilling.
Sorry?
Chinchilla. Anyways, yo, we could cut to this, but I gotta use the washroom.
All right, let's
Hey, Skier, get on in here, man.
Well, no, he has to use the washroom too.
Oh, no.
let's just take a break because then I'll see how much we actually have left.
Oh, but anyways, we're back now.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back. But like, I remembered on the last podcast we were talking about like, we don't have to talk about it that long, but I remembered we were talking about paranormal stuff. Like, do you believe in ghosts? Do you believe in paranormal things?
Okay, wait, but before we get to that, I had a question about the other stuff that we were talking about.
Yeah, no worries.
So, because we were talking about all this. So, what was your favorite? Like, do you have a favorite Nelk video that you filmed ever?
Oh, that's a good question. Because like, there's been a lot of videos that I've done with them. Like at least 100 videos with them. Okay. Ooh, that's
You
a
gotta
tough
think
one.
about
That's
that.
a, no, that it is. It's right
For
on the
sure.
spot, but it's a good question. I would say my very favorite video I've ever done with them was probably. Oh gosh.
Wait,
This is
let him figure it out. Let him
hopefully you
think.
figure it out.
Oh gosh. Probably fake gas station employee prank. That one was one of the most insane videos I've ever been a part of. The context of it was Kyle and Jesse were fake employees at Shell, and they would drive around this was when we went from Washington to Miami. So we filmed one in Georgia where Kyle like pretended like he didn't know how to use a pump during the daytime. And he's like, no, press that button. And he just sprayed the gas
Oh
all
my
over. And he
God,
paid
dude.
for it, but he sprayed the gas. And I was like, people thought, like, when you initially watch this video, you're like, he's not going to actually spray the
that,
gas.
yeah.
This guy legit
Yeah.
takes it out of the pump and sprays it like he doesn't know what he's doing. And the guy's shocked. He's like, you're not supposed to do that. Like, because the guy, like, in that moment, you don't know how you're supposed to
No,
react to that. It's just like, it's one of those moments, like, you're so shocked that, like, your brain is not processing what's happening. And then last thing you're thinking of is a camera. And then in Miami, when we went to Miami, it was that night we were filming it. It was a bunch of, it was these workers. I think they were Spanish workers, Mexican workers, and did the same thing, like spraying the gas. And this guy just walked away because, like, he's like, I'm not dealing with this. Forget this. And then like they just drive away, and then it was insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
'Cause,
I
like-
don't know how I'd react if someone did that. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, you don't know how to put gas in your thing.
Yeah, and I remember Kyle was saying this on a podcast or even an episode before, and he was saying, like, how insane was that they didn't even get arrested for that, by the way,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's legit a felony.
Yeah.
Is it not a felony to,
sure.
like,
Gas is like toxic.
I don't know.
because
Is it?
the slight
You can get
chance.
something for that.
Well,
for sure.
it could
Arrested for
like
something.
ignite and
Explode,
then
yeah.
explode the whole fucking
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's what's crazy about it. Yeah.
exactly. Like,
But did you know he was gonna spray it everywhere, or was it a surprise to you too?
so I mean, I kind of don't want to speak for him, but I pretty sure he told us before. He's like, that's gonna be the final shot. I'm actually, you know what's funny? I'm probably gonna watch that video again because that was just insane. Like, there was so many videos like that captured like my like interest, and like this was funny to watch, but also kind of like insane to do. Like, no one else, I don't think anyone else on YouTube did the videos that they've done in terms of the prank
Yeah, they had some
content
crazy ones.
in those 2 years.
Well, me and Julian, even we were watching the one where Jesse gets arrested.
Yeah.
The
You were there,
library.
right? How was that feeling? that
Which
too?
which
when he
time
went to,
though?
when he went to the
The
library,
library one.
and he
When
asked for the
the,
book on how to bury a
bury
dog.
dog,
or
yeah,
One from
that
Columbus.
was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, that was insane because, like, I was laughing too. The employees were laughing, but because somebody there in that plaza or that parking lot saw it, they thought it was real.
Yeah.
And then that's why he got arrested, because he was the one in the outfit. We didn't get arrested because we were not, I guess, they didn't, whoever called the police
Right,
didn't
yeah,
know
yeah.
we were with him, right?
And then he had to go for court for that, whatever. But
Yeah, but then there was also the first time they got arrested in Canada. I remember that too. Like, I don't know if it's still up on YouTube, probably, but when I went to the same house and I was asking for George Hennon.
No,
I've never
I don't
seen
think
that
I've
one.
never
But
seen
yeah,
that.
George Hennon too. We watched that video again. Like,
So-
that's hilarious, bro.
So I don't know if it's still on their channel, but that was the very first time I was ever shown on camera. And because the person already knew who they were, they decided to put me in place and ask for George Hennon.
Right.
Wait, so they went back to her
Mm.
house, right? The same. Wow, I don't think I've ever seen that one.
I don't know. I don't.
But I
remember
mean,
seeing-
I don't want to incriminate myself, but this is like 4 years
No,
ago,
yeah.
right? That's actually, no, I lied. This was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
So when they were in court and the judge was reading about all the statements and all that, this is where I was laughing in my head. The judge was saying an unidentified third person came to the house asking for George Hennon, and I'm sitting.
Sitting right
I'm
so they got
sitting-
arrested for that?
Well, because the lady, because
I
no,
didn't
no, because the
and they went back.
because the late
Oh.
no because after that happened, people were prank calling her, coming to the
Okay.
house, delivering pizzas and all that, and then it was basically harassment, and then they
Okay.
got arrested for
Right.
that. But then I was laughing in court because I'm like, I'm that unidentified third person, but they can't do anything now because it's like, well,
Nah, dude.
that was 6 years ago. I
Yeah.
hope I don't have to go to court for this.
No.
He's sitting there like, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's me.
That
I'm
was
like,
me.
yeah, I'm that guy. But that was some of the like nostalgic memories. And then after watching that video, because I watched the video too, and even looking back on that, I'm like, that was nostalgia too. Because thinking about Europe when we did Amsterdam, when they went to film the red light district. I think I did, but I think I did mention this on the MBH podcast when I almost got arrested. I personally almost got arrested in Amsterdam.
Okay.
So the video was of Kyle going up to these escorts at the red light district because you're not supposed to be filming or taking photos of these workers. This is at nighttime, and he's across. There's bridges that cross from the river, so he's on the other side of the river, and I'm filming from the bridge on the other side. And because we're having that little camcorder, it could zoom in really good. There was police everywhere. There was police there on my side of the bridge. So they saw me with the camera, like, what are you doing? Like, oh, I'm just filming like the scenery of Amsterdam, like I was just tourist kind of visiting. Right. And then I didn't have time to take out the memory card and put it in my pocket, because that's what usually I do when somebody asks to see the footage. Yeah. So I showed them, and he's like, yeah, this is not from daytime. Like, this is not from nighttime. Like, where's the footage from nighttime? I'm like, oh, jeez. So I had to show him the video. Like, you have to delete that. So that's why, like, I think there was one clip that was like the shot that Kyle was looking for, and I couldn't even put that clip in for that video because I had to delete it because of the officer. And he said, if I ever see you filming again, you're gonna get arrested. Jeez. Yeah, this is gonna be a clip too. The time I almost got arrested in Amsterdam. Oh my gosh, that was insane. I was so scared because I'm like,
you're like, do I delete it? It's like
I had to, because if I didn't delete it, then I'm what's the crime when you are you don't cooperate? There's a term for it.
Failure to.
It's just
failure to cooperate. Yeah. So I would have to then that would have been serious. Yeah. Because if the officer is asking you to delete something, or and
you're in Amsterdam.
And I'm in a different country. I'm in a different continent, different rules. I don't know what they're gonna do. And imagine being in a Dutch jail.
Yeah. You don't want that. Yeah.
No. And speaking of Amsterdam, mushrooms are legal. Weed obviously is legal. But the thing I remembered, the greenhouse, I still have a lighter from the greenhouse. It has like a label on it, and it's just like a regular bar. You get drinks, you get food. The left side of it, when you walk in, there's the bar. The right side of it, you have tables, kind of like a regular pub. You go to the very back of this bar. There's another section of this bar, a specific bar, another bar set up, but it's all strains of weed. Just weed displayed on the shelves, different strains. And I remember there was something OG Kush OG, something like that. It was the name of the strain.
OG Gorilla Piss.
No. No. It was like something Kush OG. That was the name of the strain. And then basically when you buy this gram of weed, you get papers and you get a lighter. And then you just sit down, and you get an ashtray, and you just chill there while you're smoking your weed and you're drinking. So it's like a weed bar. Yeah. And it's very common in Amsterdam.
It's like a pothead's paradise.
Yeah, exactly. So and then mushrooms too.
Surprised we don't have any. I'm sure we have those here too, since weed is legal as well.
A weed restaurant?
No, but a weed bar. I don't think there's, not that I know of. There's any weed bars where you could casually drink, eat, and then have a separate part of the establishment with strains of weed. Yeah. I don't think they.
Hey, that's a business we could bring to Canada.
It's not new, but I know somebody watching this, probably whoever is, probably will come up with this idea. Yeah.
And it'll be us.
It sells. You get food, alcohol, and weed all in one.
Amazing.
That's a deal.
Maybe it's an overall general law about no more smoking inside, how you can't do that anymore. Maybe it's they don't want to allow that.
Oh, but you know what? I realized too. No. But that's also another thing, because Europe is completely different from Canada. Because when you go to, I think it's in France, probably France or even Germany, you could smoke. Oh no, it was Germany. You could smoke on the porches, patios. You could smoke on patios,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
In Europe, it's completely different. And then obviously the drinking ages is different as well. Like in Germany, I think it's 16. Switzerland is 16.
Mhm.
I think England, and I think is 18. I think Ireland is 17 or 16.
Italy,
So
Italy, it's just like a height limit. That's what they say. That's the joke. Because like
Yeah, if your
Italians are
chin's over the
short.
bar, you're no.
Yeah, your chin's over the.
but Italy is 18, I believe.
No, yeah, I think it's younger.
Yeah, but it's like there's certain countries where like you're 16, you could drink, but 18 is when you could get your license. So it switches,
Mhm.
right? Because here's different, obviously. But did you know that there's only 3 provinces in Canada that the drinking age is 17?
Which one?
Quebec, right?
Quebec is one. What's the other 2?
Yukon,
Nope.
I don't know.
New Brunswick.
No. Now you're just guessing.
No.
No, it's Quebec, Alberta, and Manitoba. The drinking age. Oh, sorry, not 17, 18. Sorry.
Yeah.
Every other
Yeah.
province and territory is 19.
And they got the most problems over there.
Yeah, that's why all the
a lot.
Ontarians, they go to Montreal for when they're
Yeah.
18.
Yeah.
That's why now people go to Alberta and probably go to, Manitoba.
Yeah.
There's nothing making me want to go to Alberta.
Oh,
Like,
cool.
I'll never go there, I don't think.
Really?
Yeah, other than maybe Banff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Calgary
See,
Stampede.
no. So you make a good point. This is an example of somebody who hasn't been well traveled.
Ooh.
Is that a diss?
No, it's not a diss. It's just I could see from your point of view why you don't want to go to Alberta, because you don't see, you just hear about things. Like let's say, oh, I don't want to go to Saskatchewan. I don't want to go to Manitoba.
Especially not Saskatchewan. Yeah.
I don't want to go to Alberta, right? You want to go to BC. You want to go to Quebec. You want to go to
Edmonton.
Well, Edmonton's in
That is
Alberta.
Alberta.
But the reason why you say that is because you haven't, it's more so for people who've traveled more and have seen the world and have seen nature and have seen the beauty of this world. But it's also when you get older, you care less about the things that you used to care when you're younger. And now you're more mature. And now you actually care about things adult things that you would like to do, like go on hikes, see the lakes there, see the nature of Canada, see the Rocky Mountains. Have you seen the Rocky Mountains?
No.
Exactly. So that's like, you go to Alberta, you see the Rocky Mountains, you get to see Moraine Lake, Banff, Jasper, Lake Louise. But Lake Louise, I like Moraine Lake better.
Okay, that's interesting. I might have to
Right?
check
You
it
go
out.
to Jasper Lake, you
down
go to
notes.
Athabasca Falls, you go to Malini Lake, Pyramid Lake, Tujac Lake, you go to like all these different lakes. Like I could name a whole bunch of lakes for you guys, and then you get to see the beauty of that within your own country. That's what some people forget, that Alberta, sometimes you forget Alberta is still in Canada.
Yeah.
And you see all these different things compared to Ontario because you're so used to the city life, buildings, like transportation, traffic, a lot of different stuff in Ontario.
Yeah.
And then you go to Alberta, you go to Vancouver, you go to these Midwestern provinces, and you see the real country nature side of Canada.
Yeah.
And you get to see more than like just the city life.
Well, I went on a trip to Algonquin Park
Okay.
in like 12th grade.
Mhm.
And we did like a portaging trip where we went like 50 kilometers like around, kind of like in like a circle in one of the parks there. And like you get a whole different side of Canada, right? Like you can go up close with like mooses and stuff. You'll see a moose, you'll see the big cliffs, a Canadian Shield and all that, right? Like you don't see that if you don't go. So,
Exactly. And Muskoka, Algonquin, those are like the countrysides and nature sides of Ontario. But now take all of that area and put that all into Alberta on like the national parks.
Mhm.
You go to Whistler, you go to Vancouver Island, you go to Squamish, you go more up north of BC. That's what you're going to just see. Mountains, nature, wildlife, lakes, and it's good for photos, man.
Have you ever had any experiences with
Crazy.
bears?
Yeah. I remember I was in Alberta 2016. I saw a brown bear and cubs, and they were just chilling on the side. It was on a mountain, and they were on a road, and they were on the top of a hill, and everybody stopped because they saw the bears coming in. And then I saw it a second time when I was in Alberta as well, like just from afar, see these 2 big brown bears just chilling, just walking. And I think I got photos of it, but it was trash quality.
You never get near those cubs. That's when they'll get you.
Yeah.
Is that right? Eh?
Yeah,
Hey,
but like I
that's
said
with the
too,
Cubs, you get the mama.
in Alberta, you don't get to see wildlife like bears. Like you rarely see bears in Ontario. There are bears in Ontario, but you don't see them often. Like the best you could see as a wildlife is a coyote or a fox.
Yeah.
Or a dog.
Hello?
Toti.
Yeah, but they're
It's
not
not
wildlife.
You're not wildlife.
Wild. See that? Gotcha. Actually, in Sabo Beach, when I went to Sabo Beach camping, we were driving down like the highway thing. We were allowed, maybe it wasn't like 60, maybe we were allowed to go 80, 90. And we were looking through not the rear view mirror, actually, we were on our way to the campsite, like 5 minutes away from the campsite. And a huge black bear just bolted across the
What
street.
did it sound like?
We didn't hear it, but like it's just running at like fucking super fast. And we're like, if we were just another couple seconds more up, that would have just crushed the car and boom,
It was
done.
that close?
Yeah.
That's pretty
Well,
close.
that's bad for them because then you get your car totaled probably.
Yeah. And it's like that's the first time I've seen a full grown like black bear, and it just bolted, like it came out of the trees across the thing and back into the trees again. Just kept running.
Yeah.
And then, like we drive another like 2 minutes down, there's a guy jogging. I was like, oh fuck, you better
Could have been
you better
mauled,
speed
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
But
You never know.
yeah.
I was on that trip, like I was saying, the Algonquin trip, and we were going like down a hill, a really tall hill.
Yeah.
We had all our stuff on our backs, and we had the canoes we were carrying, and like, little do you know, a humongous moose walks by us,
Yeah.
Those
like
things are
literally a meter away, and like that thing's the size of a bus.
Yeah.
Like, if it
caribou.
wanted to,
Yeah.
it could kill you.
Yeah. I seen caribou too in Algonquin when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like the horns and it. Well, not
The
horns,
antlers.
but the antlers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing though. Like, there's so much to explore in this country. All right.
Exactly.
What kind of symbol was that?
That was the antlers.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But
What
do
is
you
the
got-
sound of a moose, man?
What you would think of it? Like what you hear in school? Like
Like, do your best, like,
no, man.
okay, we'll all go around
I
and
don't
do our
know
best
what a
moose
moose
sound.
sound.
No.
I can't even. I don't
This
even
this,
know.
this podcast is getting a bit weird now. The longer
Let's
you
not
do it,
talk
Okay,
about the
well,
moose, guys.
fuck, man, that's how it is. That's Joe Rogan, man. That's those ones where
No,
he's
but
like,
I like
he sees a bear and goes, roar.
I like
You see
I like the long episodes because like you don't. It's just the flow of the conversation, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But like yeah, like I said, like, going back to that, like the more you travel and then see other countries, the more you get to appreciate not only the world, but you get to appreciate life more
For
because
sure.
now you get to see different cultures. You get to meet new people and learn from them the culture of this of like Europe or Asia or South America, right? And I've been fortunate enough to visit, I think, three different continents now. Actually,
That's
yeah,
amazing.
3 different continents, and I've visited over like I think 18 countries now.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's awesome.
Right?
Yeah, it's good to.
Is your goal
travel.
to go like to every single country?
My goal, right, on my bucket list in terms of cities, like in North America, New York City for sure.
Oh,
That's
so you've
one-
never been to New York?
I've been a few times,
Oh, okay.
but New York, San Francisco, Seattle is another destination I want to visit. When it comes to countries, I want to visit Indonesia. I want to visit Thailand, Vietnam, Australia, like those beautiful Colombia. I want like those are beautiful countries.
Yeah.
Like just so many different countries and then obviously Dubai and what other
Djibouti.
yeah.
Djibouti.
Africa?
In Africa, yeah. Marundi, you know.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm just going back to when we did the street interviews.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
girl knew every single country. It's like Djibouti, Marundi, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Cape Verde or whatever.
Yeah,
All those
Zimbabwe,
ones. Zimbabwe,
Madagascar,
Madagascar,
Kenya,
Kenya,
Cameroon,
Cameroon.
Nigeria,
Well, watch out
Egypt.
with
No,
that.
Egypt's not really. Egypt is in your Africa, right?
No.
Yeah, that is
Is it?
Africa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it's Africa and Asia.
Oh,
South
that's
Africa
cool.
is a country.
South Africa,
you know
yeah.
your geography
We might have to
stuff.
clip
The
that.
funny thing
and
is,
maybe
okay,
it'll get 10
the
million
funny
views.
thing is, some people actually don't know the difference between continents and countries. They can't even name
What?
three
How
countries.
many continents?
Name 3 countries that are not
Egypt,
in North America.
Marundi, and Djibouti.
Not in North America?
Yeah.
Italy, Germany,
Spain.
Spain,
No, one at a time. One at a time.
Russia.
Okay, cool. And you can't name the same countries that he just named.
So I can't go
Russia,
Marundi,
Italy.
Djibouti,
No,
and
you-
Egypt.
You can't do that one. You
Okay,
know
wait.
those
I'll
ones.
go. Okay, fine. Belgium.
Cool.
Let's go. Italy.
No, I already said
that.
it.
Oh, you already said that. Belgium. Oh God, this is embarrassing.
Well, it's tough
Let me
because
go.
I'm not just
Greece,
thinking about
Spain,
countries.
Portugal.
Fuck, why can I actually couldn't think of them?
Okay. Philippines, Australia.
Okay, yeah,
and
there's
Colombia.
all those parts of the world. Yeah,
on.
come on.
Yeah, but like the thing is like,
What the fuck? I couldn't name them, guys. You put me on the spot like that.
wait,
You named all the good ones.
I got a question, Nick. Since you couldn't
Hey, I'm unmastered, okay? Like
since you couldn't complete the country test,
God damn.
is Amsterdam a city
Oh,
or a country?
I knew you were gonna say that.
Is Amsterdam?
It's a country.
God damn it.
I think he said
No, it's-
continent.
Wait, no, he said
No,
continent. Oh, I thought you said country.
No, I said, is it a city or is it a country?
Oh, I thought it was a country.
Amsterdam?
No, it's not.
What the hell is this?
It's just a city.
What's the country
I
there?
don't know
Oh
the country.
my
See, you don't know the country, so who's
I don't know.
smart
Okay,
here now?
okay. Amsterdam is the city
Of
of the Netherlands.
what? I didn't know that.
He said
Look
it.
at his geography.
You're
Is
good
it
at your
Dutch?
geography,
That's
bro.
why I said Dutch. I want to be in a Dutch jail. Oh my
Okay, well, I didn't know it was in. I didn't know it
God.
was.
I actually
Dutch.
thought Amsterdam was his own country. Like,
You know
I
what-
sound
you know
stupid,
what-
but like,
wait,
I
you know
did
what's
think
funny
that.
though? What is funny though? You're not the first person to think that Amsterdam is a country because like
Yeah.
basically Amsterdam is like within its own country because of the weed, the mushrooms,
Yes,
all
it has
that
its own
stuff.
values
But
and stuff.
Netherlands is the country.
Okay, now here's a trick question I have for you.
Sure.
Is the Vatican a city or a country?
The Vatican is indeed a city. Vatican
No,
City.
it's a country.
It's a
I mean,
city.
It's the smallest country in the world.
No.
It's a city.
It fucking is.
know.
Search it up,
Hey Siri.
bastard.
Hey Siri. Oh, it doesn't work.
This guy
Siri's-
thinks
it's
he
fine.
knows all the geography.
You know what's funny? I actually been to Vatican City.
Yeah, but it's a country. Search it up, man.
It says Vatican City is the smallest country in the world, but it says
Boom.
Vatican City is an independent city-state.
Yeah,
that
but it's a
covers just
country,
over-
though.
So technically,
It's
I'm
like
half
both.
correct.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Both,
sure,
You're
whatever you
both
think.
So I'm half correct because it is indeed a city, but it's own country.
Okay, so is Mongolia a country or a city?
Mongolia? That's a country, no?
No. It's actually a city state. No, I don't know.
It's a country. It's a country.
I don't know, man.
Mongolia is actually indeed
just-
a country, I believe.
Okay, there you go. You know your Mongolian
Did you get
stuff.
like a 90 in like a geography?
Yeah. Look,
That was his
Mongolia,
thing.
country, Asia.
You're pretty good.
Bam.
Wait, but Asia's a continent.
Yeah, but Mongolia is a country.
In Asia.
Ah.
Okay, well then for you then, is Hong Kong a country or a
It's
city?
a country.
Good.
Yes.
You know your current events because obviously Hong
What about
Kong,
Taiwan?
Taiwan's a country.
That's
Taiwan's a
they
country.
don't want it to be one though. Oh,
No,
Chinese people are coming
so
after us.
China wants to basically. We're not getting into too much of it, but China wants to control Taiwan because Taiwan is its own country, and same with Hong Kong.
I heard
yeah.
that might be the start of World War III because if China tries to take it over, America has to protect
No,
them.
we're not going to get too much into the China,
Yeah.
China debate. No, we're not getting into that.
You want to get into
Let's
that?
not get
Yeah,
into
no.
that, guys.
No.
Hey,
we're not.
that's
We're
how
not
you
here
know
for.
you're
We're not.
getting
We're not
deep in
here
a
for that.
podcast.
We're not
no?
here for that.
It's getting
podcast,
more
yeah.
Joe Rogan-y as we
You know
go
what's funny
on,
though? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you're pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure
Made in
these
China?
mics are made in China. No.
Fuck. Thought they would have been made in at least Mongolia or something.
Wait.
Yeah, maybe they can hear this all around the air.
No, it doesn't even say. But I'm pretty sure these
the
Shure
radio.
mics.
They're listening to this right now.
Why do I keep saying Mongolia?
Yeah.
It's like an
They're listening
epicenter
to
of
you
the
now.
world, man.
But that's funny though because
Yo,
like
Unmastered takes on
a
Mongolia.
lot of people sometimes just like they forget their geography.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Mexico.
That's like the one product that people casually get to use.
But
Oh.
the other type is made in China.
What type? What type?
Beta 57A and 58A are made in China.
SM7B.
Okay, I think we need to get him a mic.
SM50. Yeah, SM70 is Mexico.
I don't even. Whatever. We got Mexican
Yeah,
equipment. Okay,
yeah.
good. Because like everything's made in China allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, but those cameras are made in Japan, no? Or
Oh.
China?
Now we know where everything's made too, huh?
Gotta be Japan.
Where was that ET made? No, I'm just kidding. Like, everything-
Now you're just gonna
That
question
was just
everything
a
and like,
question.
is this made in
Where was
China?
this
This hoodie
table
was made in
made?
China probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, good quality.
For
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Do you guys vintage shop? Just
Yeah.
random question. Do you guys
I
vintage?
do.
Good.
I
Say
haven't
less.
been in so
Respect.
long though. I
What's
gotta
your
go.
favorite vintage spot?
Hey, if we ever start a vintage part of the
like,
channel,
in
you're on
in
it.
Kensington Market, that are all those ones.
Okay. I could give you
Queen
some
Street, there's some.
Queen Street. Okay,
Right.
so I could give you some. I'm gonna just shout
Just
out
shout 'em
all
out
the-
right
Shout them
now.
out, and then we'll
Best-
tag them and we'll
we
clip
gotta go
it.
do a vlog together.
And we're gonna do a
We'll
vlog there.
Yeah.
vintage
Nine will go
shop.
to
Okay,
the
let him do a
shop.
clean clip. Come on, guys.
Okay. Loose Fade Stack Market. That's my brother's shop. Shout out to my brother.
Mhm.
In Vintage We Trust on Queen Street.
That's a good one.
Uncle Vintage is another one.
Yes.
Way Back Vintage is another one. Throwback Vault on Queen and Bathurst, another one. Great one. I love that one. And then those are the main ones.
The drop spot in Hamilton
has a location. Oh, Omnis. Omnis in Hamilton is another spot. There's what else is there? There's a lot of other different vintage shops, but Way Back is a really good one. Throwback Vault is another one. And then obviously my brother's shop, Loose Fade. Some good quality.
That hat looks very vintage. You get that too from Vintage Place?
So this sweater, this hat, a lot of my closet that I wear is all vintage. Like 95% of my closet is vintage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a Nelk boys merch or full send merch at a vintage store?
No.
It's not vintage yet. What is considered vintage?
Vintage, if it's an original made shirt from like the 90s, early 2000s. And honestly, vintage is subjective because it depends on when it was made, who, like, if it's like a band and it was made like in the 70s or made like in the 90s on a tour shirt, right? Or if it was made that like a weekend King of the Fall t-shirt. I have that concert tee. I consider that vintage because it's a one of one that you can only get from 4 shows.
Yeah.
This is considered vintage because of the way it's stitched and the way that it's the tag is stitched, and also the placement of the sweater. Sometimes if it's in the middle, it's like a vintage, and the quality of it, right? So this is considered vintage because of like 1993 like World Series hat, right? It all depends on when it was made and the time of it, when like what you're looking at it was made, you know.
There you go. This guy's a man of many industries. He knows a lot of things.
And paranormal.
Oh yeah. Okay,
And
so
paranormal.
you never let him get into
No,
that.
it's okay. It's okay. I like these conversations. Like you
So
just let
let's
the
talk
flow.
paranormal then.
We don't have to get too deep into it,
paranormal.
but like I do like paranormal. I'm very interested in like knowing like the spirit world and like being able to communicate with spirits, and knowing that when a person dies, if they come back as a spirit, whether they're good or evil, you know, it's very interesting.
Have you ever communicated with the spirit realm?
Never.
But
I don't plan to.
Okay.
I don't plan to. Like I would never use a Ouija board because
No, don't mess with that.
I've used it once, man.
there are some people that actually that will use a Ouija board, and like they live with the consequences because it is scary.
What is the consequences?
So
You've done it?
Yeah, before.
you've done it, but have you done
Multiple
it
times.
properly?
I don't know, multiple times.
Okay, so what I know about Ouija boards is when you are communicating with the spirit, you have to spin the planchette 3 times, and then you start communicating to any spirits that are around you, and then they could either communicate with yes or no, and then they start. When you ask a question, they answer you with the planchette into letters.
Right.
The rules are unwritten rules is that you should never use a Ouija board by yourself. The second is never take your hands off the planchette when you are in contact with the spirit and you are in the spirit world with the spirits. Third is you always have to say goodbye and put the planchette to the goodbye before you take your hands off and end the communication with the spirits. So, I mean, I'm not saying that like I never done it, but I've seen videos where like people have been followed by spirits back to the houses or living in their houses because they didn't properly say goodbye to a spirit, or they very antagonized and instigated the spirit to like want to haunt them.
Do you believe in God?
I do.
Do you believe in which God? Like Jesus?
Yeah, Jesus. I'm a Catholic, so I follow, the Catholic religious Catholicism, God, Jesus.
Same here, man.
Celebrate everything, all those. But what do you guys like? Do you believe in paranormal?
Paranormal? I don't know. Yeah, I do. I think it's out there.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't
I've never experienced it.
never experienced it, but I do believe in it.
I'm curious, Nick, though, to hear your story about the Ouija board, your experience.
Yeah,
like,
you used it.
because
I used it with my
I've
brother.
never met somebody that actually used it or had experience with it. So like,
I want to
quickly-
use it kind of a little bit.
Was it you just pushing it, or did you actually
I
feel
wanna do it.
something?
I don't know. Like I don't really remember. We were like maybe 13
Okay.
or so, and we would like use it kind of like a made up. Like you could draw one, you can make one too.
Oh, so you use like a DIY.
I don't think it was like a
DIY
real one that
Ouija
you
board.
like.
Yeah, because if you
use.
didn't know, you could actually buy Ouija boards at Toys R
Yeah,
Us.
they're
Yeah,
made by
yeah, you
Hasbro.
can.
But that's why it's like it's
That's
believable.
satanic as fuck,
Okay.
man.
Maybe they have some sort of ties.
Yeah, but I mean, someone's got to make it.
Someone's gonna make it.
You know, like, at the end of the
Someone's
day,
got to get those kids
What about-
possessed, man.
wasn't there one too in like elementary school? People used to do where the two pencils are a cross, and it's like the Charlie one or something. and, like,
yeah.
the
Guys,
pencil
this
go there,
is
that's
not
when
good,
Charlie, can I
man.
ask you a question?
Yeah, and like I remember some kid would just like blow the pencil, and then it goes. "Ah!"
Guys, we're not.
No, what
promoting the
about
use of these things.
Candyman? Did you ever watch the movie
Yeah.
Candyman?
Yeah.
Mm.
That was
Both of them,
scary.
I've watched both.
The
Fuck,
1993 one, I think, or
Yeah.
1992 one.
I think
That
so,
was
1992.
scary.
And then there's that new one.
Yeah. I never seen the new one, but I do remember the very first one when like I think it was based in Chicago,
Yeah.
and it's at a park, and it's at like this washroom or bathroom, and then I remember the person lifts the toilet up, and like it's just like something comes out of the toilet. That's the one memory I remember from that movie.
Mm.
That was scary though. But like, do you guys like scary movies?
Yep.
Yeah.
I hate them.
I
Watch
like the
them whenever.
traditional ones, like the Michael Myers
You
and
do.
like the wherever the
Texas
Yeah,
Chainsaw
the
Massacre
slashers.
one,
The slashers,
the
yeah.
Exorcism,
Mhm.
like the
I watch them all
Exorcist.
though. I'm waiting for
Scared of
Saw
that shit,
10.
man.
You know what though? Like the thing is with modern horror movies and scary movies, like they're so unreal that you don't get scared anymore because you
Yeah.
know it's not real.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
If it's a movie that like actually is based on a true story, true events, and actually doesn't look fake, then I would actually generally be scared,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
the more psychological ones are better.
Yeah, like The Exorcist, like the original 1970s Exorcist, or the 1977 like
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Like those ones, like the original ones, are like probably
Yeah,
the
you can't beat
scariest.
those ones. Man.
Mm-mm.
You love horror, man.
I do.
You make your own horror
I don't like
films.
it,
Speak about it.
but I would only watch it if I know it's a good recommendation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna watch trash movies nowadays because like those horror movies nowadays are just so trash.
I wanted to watch that new A24 one though.
Which one?
Talk to Me.
Talk to me.
The A24 film. It just came out not too long ago.
Talk to me, eh?
Yeah.
What's it about?
The YouTubers actually made it. The two where are they from? Raka.
Who's Raka Raka?
They're like Australian YouTubers and they would do like clown horror videos and then they made this big A24 film.
Okay.
And I haven't seen it, but apparently it's actually really good.
Allegedly.
It's like one of those like Ouija board kind of ones. But allegedly it is.
Allegedly
it's
it's
very
good.
good.
You never know. I
But,
mean,
it's like there's like this hand and like you gotta hold it and you talk to it and like it's like the same like
Mm.
Ouija board kind of concept.
yeah.
but
And
They're already
re-
making a second.
Yeah,
What's his
yeah.
plot?
Because the reason why I wanted to bring up like the paranormal is because I have a few cousins actually that have a third eye,
Ooh.
and they could
what?
like they could see spirits, they could talk to spirits, they could like hear the spirits communicate to them. With my cousins though, they don't talk about it much, and they don't bother to like communicate with the spirits no more because they don't want to anymore. But I know like a few times where like my cousin has communicated with spirits like face to face, talking to them,
Mm.
and with spirits in the mirrors. This is when she's a kid, and she has a third eye and would be able to like see the spirits, like a woman in a white dress, right? The typical woman in a
Yeah.
white dress. I think it was a white or red dress. And then I remembered, like, I mean, she would walk to school, university, and I remember she would see spirits in like buildings, like, and specifically, I remember she was telling me like specifically in this one building, every time she would walk to school, this one building would have the same woman there because I guess she lived there or something,
Getting goosebumps.
right? And like she could like. She just chose not to communicate with
Yeah,
spirits
just
because
act like
like
it's
some people just don't want to.
Yeah.
But then there's other people that can and will.
Yeah.
But it's scary, you know.
Yeah, I knew someone too that said they used to be able to see like maybe like a past like dead relative or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know if you're just crazy or like it's actually real. But
I don't say they're crazy, but they have a very special talent or
Mm.
a very unique thing about themselves, you know. I like it's so strange because like one of my mom's, I think one of my aunts, her brother or her son died in a motorcycle accident, and she was living in this one apartment, and the son was staying in the room that he was living in as when he was alive. And when she moved out, a new person moved in. And then the person that moved, the new owner, had a third eye and would see the son, like my cousin, and would talk to the cousin and communicate with him. And he told my aunt to come back to the condo because they wanted to talk. And so the new owner had to talk to my aunt through her son's spirit and kind of like talk about it, and then like communicate through him to let her know what her son is saying to him. And they had a conversation. And then after that, he left because they had a conversation.
What was the conversation?
It was personal things, yeah.
Oh.
But like it was just because I don't know, I can't remember actually, but it was just personal things, right? And so after they had that conversation, then that's when he left. And then the new owner was like, okay, like he left. Yeah. So it's really.
But like, did he like say anything about what happens like when you pass away?
No, because I was not there. Like my
That's
mom doesn't know
crazy.
neither. It's just more of like the conversation between them
It's
two.
like sort of like that Jumpers Jump podcast where they get into those like
Yeah.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, but that's not a conspiracy. That's
It's
like
not
real life.
conspiracy,
Yeah.
It's real life
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
you know? Conspiracies, there's a lot of conspiracies out there.
For sure.
Let me tell you.
You believe in those?
Well,
Conspiracies?
Which ones,
What's
though?
the what?
There's
Which
so many.
what's your biggest conspiracy? that
I
you-
can't say because it's too
No, okay.
it's too political, man.
That's
I don't
that's
get
off
into
the
these
top.
conversations. I like to talk it
Yeah,
off
yeah,
camera.
this is like
This
that's
was
more like
off
off
camera.
camera shit.
Of
Of
yeah.
course, because you know
But-
what though, like people could be outspoken on podcasts, but like I don't do that.
Yeah.
Anyone could be an outspoken
Sure,
person on a podcast, but like I choose not to because it's like why?
Anything else really you want to touch on?
Yeah,
before we wrap it
so-
up, or-
I have obviously going to Halifax.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that festival. I actually went to Vancouver recently. I did a pro-am game there. I did one in Toronto.
Yeah.
And when it comes to big, not so much big events, but like, you know, I got a lot of work coming up, events, basketball
Yeah, I've
season's
seen a
coming
lot of
up.
basketball stuff. You actually played in a tournament or something, right?
Yeah, I
Or-
played in a charity game. It was
Yeah.
so funny. Like I remembered this comedian, a Filipino comedian named Ray Tarka. We did a charity event and we played basketball. It was so fun. And then I remembered I went for a fast break layup. This guy sprinting down the court trying to block me. Pump fake him. He jumps.
gone.
He jumps and goes off the court. I hit the layup, and then I hit him with the John Cena "You Can't See Me" taunt. And then I got a technical foul for it.
Oh,
yeah. You need like an edit of that. Like the
I
song
know, I'm
comes
like,
in.
you can't see. I literally went
Nice.
to his face and I did that to him. Like you didn't see in the video, but like I literally went up to him and I did that. It was so
Wow.
funny. And yeah, I'm gonna start like, you know, play basketball more, like do more basketball events, but
Yeah.
just do more clientele work. That's really what I want to do is grow my client work with festivals.
Maybe your potential own podcast in the future. You never know.
The food.
The future?
Future?
You're talking about food.
Because I was like, do I say near future, but future?
Yeah, future. Yeah, I mean, eventually. I've always said it on podcasts before. Like, I would eventually do a podcast, but I feel like I do it when the time is right.
Right.
When I feel like I have the right guests that I want to bring on.
Yeah.
You know, and who to bring on. I definitely, I bring you guys on for a
That'd be
podcast,
awesome.
of course.
If you ever
know?
need some tips or anything, we can
Of course.
help you out a bit.
But yeah, other than that though,
the
like
future,
it's you know, we still got 3 months left of 2023. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully I could shoot for the Raptors maybe one day.
Oh yeah. Put it out there.
Put it
Yeah,
out there
of course,
in the
manifest
world.
it.
Mhm.
I got a question. Do you think that Unmastered is going to be like big one day? Like just from like seeing it from like a company that was really like successful. Do you think that we have like a potential to be big?
I feel like anyone and everyone who is on social media has the potential to grow and be bigger and have an audience. It's a matter of your mindset and you're willing to commit to it.
Mhm.
Be consistent. Put out podcast every week if you want to, even if it's just a host podcast. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to have a guest on. If you don't, you know, if you can't get a guest on, do a guest host only podcast, right?
Yeah.
Talk about current events, things that going on in your life. People want to get to know you more internally as you guys conversating, like because you have chemistry with each other.
Yeah.
And the way that you could grow is just be yourself, consistency, and provide quality content, quality over quantity. That's the main thing that I put out there too, right? And that's what I want to show people when it comes to my content, when it comes to video content, right? Specifically like YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, whatever it is. You know?
What are your thoughts on like batching podcasts and stuff? Like,
What's
or like
batching?
just like doing like a bunch of them, because we've been having this debate with like delaying podcasts and stuff, and we want to make sure that it's like relevant and all that, but we also like we don't want to rush stuff either.
Okay.
And like, because you know there's a whole rollout that comes with dropping a video, and then there's a whole like, you know, editing process that comes with it, and then the clips, and if you are delayed a couple days, it kind of like affects the whole thing. Like what's your opinion on, like, let's say something's wrong with a video or a podcast, do you like delay it further, even though it's like it's supposed to come out on like a certain day? Like let's say it's supposed to come out on like a Saturday or something, but you know there's like something that you can change to make it better. Do you delay it like 3 days?
No.
You drop it just
I would say for you, like let's say even for our episode, like the last episode, even though there was a bit of like mistakes were in it, like the audio and all that, I would say just work with what you got. Explain in the video, like this is what happened in the very beginning of the video. Hope you enjoyed this episode. You drop the video, you drop all your clips as you do. And even with this episode, like I feel like sometimes too, like you could delay other episodes, but if you feel like this specific guest that you have on is someone that you're excited to have and feel like it could help grow the channel or, you know, get more people in your audience, right? Drop it right away. And I would say that, and I would say too, the only way you could do that is obviously just commit to it. Focus on that for a good solid 2 days, edit it up, and have it ready for when you want to post it, and then announce when you want to post this video. Because the quicker that you upload this podcast, the sooner people are going to want to like know about this, right? And especially if you promote it, say, hey, we just did a podcast with this person, they're going to want to see that within the next few days.
Yeah, it's supposed to come out. Ours is supposed to come out soon, like within a week or so. But,
Yeah.
But like we had an issue, like a technical issue with the pod, where it's like a little part is like messed up or something. Do you re-upload the whole thing?
No, I would just go with what you got. And
No,
just,
well, I agree with. Okay, anyways. we're
Nah,
not gonna
okay,
go
whatever.
through
It's
all details,
I'm not
but
explaining it correctly.
anyways.
But
of
like,
course not. Of course not. Like
Yeah.
that's between you guys. But I'm just saying, like, if you can't fix it,
Sure.
just go with what.
yeah,
you got.
if you can't fix it, but if you can, then
you
fix
can,
it.
fix it. Yeah, then go back and edit it. But you don't
Even
have
if it means it's gonna delay it like a day or so. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But don't sit on it for weeks. Though
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
No, yeah, no, for sure. Because then the longer you delay, then you have more and more things pile up, and the next thing you know, you have 50 videos that have to come out. Where do you start? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Start with the latest episode. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you do when you have old ones though? That's the issue. That's like what we've been coming into occurrence with, is where we constantly will just have like 5 episodes in the vault, and then like the 5th one, the least priority one, will come out in like 5 months.
Yeah.
We're like, what the fuck, man?
Well,
like
I
that one
guess-
should have came out sooner.
I guess for you guys, like, if those older videos you have right now, just release them.
Yeah.
Just release them like every week, so you have 5 weeks of videos while you're uploading these videos and editing them. You film while those videos are gonna go up. That way you have more content. But then you could also do it in between. Like if there's a priority podcast you want to do, just upload that after.
Yeah.
Right. Even do it like twice in a week if you can, right? To kind of get it out more. And that way you're more consistent with it. Right.
For sure.
Jeez, we've been going on for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
Like
we
2.5
got
hours.
long.
Jeez.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on again, Nino.
Yeah, man.
It was
Thank
What is
you.
it? 6 o'clock? Jeez.
Jesus.
Jeez, we gotta
Great
go eat now. We gotta go eat.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
That's why I like, you know.
It was good,
Yeah,
man.
we appreciate it. And guys, if you're here, you're watching, hope you like this new setup. If you want to hit the subscribe button, we'd love that. Drop a like on the video, drop a comment.
Yep.
Go check out all the Nino stuff down below as well in the
Share the
description.
video.
Hey, send us a
share the
screenshot
video.
if you watched all the way to this point, and
There
like
you
put it on your story
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we see if you're a
Yeah,
real
yeah.
one.
And
Of
these
course.
beautiful pieces of merch up here, you guys can go cop it all at shopunmastered.com.
Not the
And,
rug and the painting, but the other things.
Yeah.
The jersey and the hoodie
Yeah,
and the
man.
hats coming soon.
Yeah. And I'll be uploading YouTube videos.
Yeah, man.
Not every week like I used to, but I will be posting a lot more TikToks. Getting back into that. Instagram, check it out. You know, I got that going on. I'm excited for what I'm going to be posting on YouTube because I got some really good content that I'm gonna be creating. And yeah,
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, man.
And,
Thank you for
amazing.
coming on. Another great pod, guys. We'll see you
See you
next
guys.
time.
Peace.
Boom.
Unmastered, let's go. You see it?